Gotta go. Girl talk.
Boom! Hard in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gotham City tonight. I am Ryan Doell, and we got more than just two of us. And Alex is back after I was gone for 2 weeks. Alex has been gone for 3. Welcome back, sir.
Good to be back. I mean, I feel like I've been gone forever. Like
it feels like forever, and also it feels like it's been forever. AJ,
hello.
Welcome back to Gotham City tonight as well.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, dude. No, it's we were just talking right before, that's why we're late. We were exchanging pleasantries. We were talking about like how much has happened since even the last time you were on. Like X-Men 97 wasn't even finished yet. Ghostbusters wasn't even released.
Came on or came out?
Yeah.
It was like right after episode 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was right after Remember It, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god."
That's all a blur. I also had to get surgery around the time, so like when episode 5 came out, I like went down for the count. So both in
appropriate.
It was weirdly appropriate. But it was a rough month or so.
Right? Yeah, but it was like, I just feel like San Diego happened, and also New York
Comic-Con, a lot of stuff has happened. It's been a whirlwind of like, I was like, I'm not doing conventions. That's a lot of effort to like, I'm only doing conventions. So it's been which is fun. I wasn't used to them. It's a completely different mindset than being like showing up and voice acting versus like, wow, I'm at a convention. It's crazy.
Yeah. How has it been for you though? Like this, because you've done like the two of the like most major ones.
And it's good. It's fun. It's wild to sit at a table and have people tell you they like you and then sign things. It's really surreal. I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around it because it is I think for most voice actors, we like a certain amount of anonymity, and now that is slowly dripping away. And like I get stopped now at like, there was a guy yesterday at Target that was like, "Are you Gambit?" And I was like, "Yes." Which is even more embarrassing because I was looking at a Gambit that they had the X-Men shirts.
Yeah,
and I was looking at the shirts going, "Oh, we're still in the store," which I thought was like, I'm looking at our merch. But it's cool, just very, very strange because I'm pretty I don't know, kind of a introvert. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck, because it's even your Halloween costume went crazy viral.
Which is cool. That's awesome. Because I worked on that thing it's funny, I said 2 years when I wrote it, but when I actually sat back and thought about it, I think it's more like 4. So it was kind of not, it's cool that people appreciate it because I put a hell of a lot of work into it.
Dude, it looks so good.
It looked incredible. AJ reached out to me months ago about getting Gambit knee, like shin pads, like the ones I created for the figure. And those would not have worked on a regular human knee. So whatever you came up with was like much better.
It's what I wound up it took. So those boots are not meant for humans to wear. Like a human shouldn't. And like the way the stripes go, I wanted the stripes to be solid pieces. So like I crafted the boots out of leather, and then the horizontal stripes, I had to figure out a way to like have them consistently wrap around under the structure. There's a boot structure that I made, and then it was just a nightmare. But then the knee pads I wound up making in Tinkercad, and then casting in a flexible resin. And it was more effort than it should have been. Most people would have just done it in foam, and I was like, no, I want it to be durable for whatever reason. So it's just the way my brain works.
That I totally get that, because you always because we're not doing this for like a movie set where there's gonna have 5 different pairs of boots. You're gonna wear one out right away. These are just to look good on camera for a hot minute. Then you take them off, and then you throw them away.
Right.
When we make stuff, we want it to be durable. We want it to be functional.
Yeah.
That's just the way I don't know. That's how when I'm building stuff, I'm getting like, if I'm getting boots for Wolverine or Dolverine, it's just like that's like they have to look good, and they gotta last, and they gotta be comfortable.
I also have this weird thing where I don't want people to be, this is maybe a derailment, but I never want someone to be able to look at what I made and know what it's made of. Like, it's one thing if it's like a boot that is inherently leather typically, but like for the chest, I wanted people to go, what the hell is that? And I go, aha, it was like, because it was sculpted in 3D, then I 3D printed it, then I cast it in a flexible resin, which was nuts as well. And, but like, I don't like when I can identify that something's foam or something's, I don't know. So it's just a weird thing that I put on myself that is consistent for when I do a cosplay. I was like, I don't want to be able to identify like, oh, that's Warbler because that has that texture to it.
Right.
Yeah. So I just
But
make all kinds of.
Want to give you huge props for getting that really good, vibrant pink.
Oh, thank you. That was an accident too. The funny thing is I had bought this like special neon pink dye that was pretty expensive, and I wound up being like, let me just do a test one using like pink and or red and white. And when I mixed it, I was just like, oh, that kind of. So it was my first casting I wound up using, and then I wound up detailing it or adding like a really subtle shadow with some leather paint, and it just so happened to work. And I was like, thank God, I don't have to cast this again.
Oh, so you dyed the resin with the.
Yeah, it's a clear resin with I think white, and I added a touch of purple and then just red, and somehow it worked. I also did it at night when it was really dark, so the next day I was like, "Oh, it looks okay." So it was a total fluke. Yeah.
No, it looks so good. It looks so good. Okay, before we get rolling even further, let's say a quick howdy do to the chat.
Hello,
Luis Pastoreros. I butcher it every week. I swear to God.
Ballesteros.
Right?
Ballesteros.
Yeah. Right. And he's like excited for the new Joy Toy April. I will agree. That is a real sexy looking toy.
Those Joy Toy TMNT are so cool.
I don't know what that is. Joy Toy?
We will look them up.
We'll get
yeah.
that.
I love TMNT over who doesn't. So yeah, curious to see.
Johnny Cog is here. The Ryan Dole fan club, Dolomites, and it's brew time. I like that. Andrew's Gatey's Toys is here. Daith is here. My dude, the professor of Ricketts, Bionic Funk, Deep Space Niner, Tony Johnson's, the Culture Vulture 81. Hey, Brian Brink is here. Dorlaxian, my dude. Matt Bush is here. Chad Stewart, Johnny Disco. Man, I like that name. That's a cool name. Hang on. Let's see. Jack Knight 73 is here. Did I miss anybody? And we got Kevin's here from Toying Around. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, who looks younger in real life. I saw him recently. I was like, you're like 10 years younger in real life than I thought you were in the interview.
Yeah. I was hanging out with him in Toronto not too long either, and we did a whole bunch of toy hunting. And it was so much fun. Yeah, dude, he's the best. Kevin's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's get into this. We're gonna totally go. We're gonna derail right off the start. I'm gonna look for these. Does Joy Toy have a website? I've got to make sure how I type that correctly. I don't know what Google's gonna give me.
It's like the Wicked thing.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God, how funny is that?
That's my favorite thing I've seen. I love that so much. That's it's gonna be one of those documentary things, or like Dan Larson will cover it on it's something that will go forever in some kind of toy documentary. The toys that made us will just be like, by the way,
I can hear Dan Larson like already talk about like Wizard of Oz.
New Wicked toys are my impression. It's funny. I think he's changed his voice a little bit since I first met him. He's like, "Hello, I'm Dan Larson." And today we're gonna do like my impression of him is very Muppety, but I think he's lightened it.
That's great.
He's such an awesome dude too.
He's great. He's exactly how. It's funny. I've talking to him through his podcast and stuff. Just like I'm like, oh, he's as nice as you would hope he would be. That's awesome. That's crazy. What am I looking at? So it's like a realistic take.
But they're small. They're like 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
$40.
Super detailed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, look at the sass on this.
Yeah.
Oh, the
good face.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's so good. Like these figures looks amazing. So you haven't seen these yet before?
No, that's awesome with the little mousers. That's super cool. I love the weathering too and the seams.
Yeah,
You don't have
it's
to do that on your own.
yeah. Well, yeah, right. You don't have to do. They do it for you.
There's
It's
yeah. This would be like if I wasn't voice acting, this is like another, not that I couldn't try to do both, but like just making and sculpting. I mean, I guess I do on my own, make my own toys. I forgot about that.
That's true.
But like, it's such a passion or fascination for me, the idea of creating a little world and the way in which you think of things when they're small and weathering, and it's so fascinating to me.
Right. But it's even just these small accessories that just
It's amazing. Or gloves.
the gloves, the camera, the microphone, right? The extra portraits. God, right? Like,
Oh, that's awesome. The little piece of the sewer, which I'm assuming must lock into the rest of the turtles or something. Is there like one base?
I think so. The turtles come with like a ton of accessories and like effects and stuff. I can't wait for them to do vehicles. It's like the perfect size for like a.
Oh, that's great. And this is not connected to anything specific. It's just their own take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone seems to have a turtle license right now, and if you're a turtle fan, you're eating well, or you're not eating at all because you have.
Because you're buying toys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's so funny. Oh, Shredder looks like a cute little schnauzer guy. He kind of looks like his movie version, but like the 90s movie version.
I like his like white whiskers.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, yeah. Bebop and Rocksteady.
These are awesome because they're realistic enough, but they still retain that cartoon vibe. That's a hard balance.
Yeah. And the articulation's like really impressive on them because again, if that's like tiny scale, like it's hard to.
This is actually, as a toy maker, as someone who sculpts these things, do you concern yourself with the art? Do you have to figure out the engineering of the articulation?
Oh yeah,
really?
Sure.
They don't just hand that off to someone else and go, "Thanks for the sculpt."
No, it's actually what takes me most of the time because it's like crazy. It's a delicate dance of trying to like preserve your sculpt but let it move in the way that people expect it to move. So yeah, it's always.
I think there'd be a separate team for someone to be like, it would be like the illustrator of a book also having to worry about the binding.
Right? Yeah.
So wild.
Well, maybe someday. I think at some, I think maybe like NECA and Hasbro, I've heard like they'll have somebody like who specifically does articulation and that sort of thing. But it's it's like it helps to. Like you have to kind of like weave it into the sculpt. You can't just like it isn't just like cookie cutter. Every like body and character is different. And
yeah, totally. Wow, that's crazy.
I love that. Like that. This like the classic Bebop and Rocksteady kind of like silhouette. I feel like they nailed that there.
They look so good.
True. You writing?
Yeah. Hey,
trying to write on camera is not easy.
It is the worst. Oh my gosh! This is all there.
No turtles.
Where are the turtles? Comic
They're
shop.
Gone.
I just got an email today that Hasbro is re-releasing the Gambit figure. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw that.
Was it really unexpected? I was like, oh wow, that's great! Hooray! I need 10 more.
Did you get the Sentinel?
The new one.
Yeah,
I did. I have so little room in my apartment. We're trying so desperately to move that like the idea of acquiring, because I have that Sentinel, the other Sentinel, the Legends Sentinel, and it's like having a child in your room. It's massive.
I have I still got to find a place for this child.
Oh my god, yeah.
Right? Like don't ever get addicted to Marvel Legends, man. It's game over.
I've seen people use the technique of it's the display case, because they stick all of their Marvel Legends onto the Sentinel or the Giant Man.
I'll wait to see if they do something with Gambit because it feels like that would be they could do a white suit Gambit or something.
Yeah.
It feels like that would be the appropriate place for that.
I really want I want a Hellfire Gala like Love Triangle 3-pack.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Really, really bad. Like I want those. What's the other one? And of course I want beignets.
Crop top Gambit. I would love.
Right. Gosh, I can't find these turtles. But anyways,
and just a Gambit where his jacket comes off and you see his like his arms, the
I will
sleeve
say that was
of
one
his,
critique. So because I was sculpting the costume, I was disappointed. I wound up messaging Amelia, who's the artist for
Yeah.
the show, and I was like, hey, I need help. Like, this reference is not good. Like, the figure is not like the show, which is as nice as I love the figure, but like it wasn't accurate to the way the show looked. And I was like trying to get the details of the boots and stuff right. And she wound up sending me some close-up images and stuff, which was useful. But I was like, I'll just use this as reference. And then when I got it in my hand, I went, oh, this is the previous sculpt with some different colors. And like there was some stuff about it that was like, but I want mine to look like the show version. So yeah. Most people wouldn't notice unless they're trying to use it as reference for something. But yeah, for me, I was like, wait, no.
Yeah.
Right. It's a dude. Okay. Did you guys read manga or do you watch any anime, anything?
Yes.
Okay. I picked this up at the comic shop today.
Oh, I've
Ooh.
signed a couple of these and I'm always like, where are these from? They're amazing.
So I have 3 of the original like short manga volumes from Japan. So they're in Japanese. I got those from a friend in high school who went to Japan while we were in high school. So I got them in the 90s.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And I've only ever had the 3. I've only ever seen the 3 that I own. Even when I went to Japan twice, I would go to like used manga shops and be like, X-Men? And they go, what? Trying to find more of them, and I never could. So now these are re-released and translated and a big, massive digest. This is only volume 1 of 2.
Oh, man.
And these are so good. The art is so good. They have like just the extra stuff that they had. Like when you open up the covers in the original manga, like you take the slipcase off. On the opposite side of the cover on the slipcase, they would have the like the turnarounds at the end of the end credits.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the turnarounds, but it would be like, here's the heights and here's the characters.
That's
and here's
awesome.
And here's what they do. And so depending on the volume, it might be like, oh, this one's Cable. This one's Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel. This is like, so I have like volumes 10, 11, and 12. And now I have volumes. It doesn't tell me what volumes I have. This is just volume 1, according to
1
this.
through something. Yeah.
1 through something. And like yeah, the art is so good. And
it's like all different artists, right? Like
so they'll do like a couple like what's the best way to, they'll do like a couple, like they'll do a couple volumes each, but not back to back.
God, it's so cool. I would have freaked out for this as a kid because I loved Speed Racer, and that was the closest thing I could get to like anime and manga in the early 90s. You know, I didn't really understand how else to access it or what it was. Yeah, that's someone gave me, not gave me, but I signed an original one, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then like 2 months later, that one came out, I guess, and a bunch more people showed up with them for me to sign. And I was like, this is insane. I need to get one of these. But I also don't need more books to read because I'm currently I'm reading through Berserk, and I'm in the volume 12, the giant leather-bound ones, and I'm like,
it's just endless.
Yeah.
But so that's the like, so they haven't flipped it, because like that's what drove me crazy on the like American ones, is like Cyclops's bandolier is backwards because they flipped it for Western audiences.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah.
So these ones are not flipped. You start just kind of like,
oh, those are sick,
right?
That's
Look
awesome.
at that!
Wow.
So,
That's
hey,
cool.
Someone was asking about Gambit poses.
That was me.
That's yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's your Gambit pose.
That's
right?
amazing.
AJ, that would make a cool tattoo.
Oh. Are you looking to get tattoos as well?
No, not at all. It's funny. I feel like I'm so interchangeable in what I'm interested in during the. I love so many things, and my way of expressing that is like, I'll put a sticker on my car or I'll get a toy. But the idea of permanently affixing it to me, I'm like, I can't. Because in a week I'll be like, oh, I'm not in that fixation right now. My fixation's this other thing, and I'll be like,
you'll get another tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll just be covered.
It's just like I like the Rocketeer today. I'm gonna go get a Rocketeer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been me 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I have a whole Dick Tracy backspread. It's amazing. It's
Yeah, Dick Tracy. What a specific thing to love that most people are like, huh? It's like specifically the movie, but the movie's terrible, but I love it and I don't care.
yeah, right. I do have a soft spot for that movie, but I think it's
Same.
mainly because of the score, the costumes, the makeup.
Era it came out, like it was at a very specific time with the Rocketeer and with Roger Rabbit. Like there was kind of this like Touchstone 3 that sort of they all kind of came out around the same time, and I hold them in the same sort of nostalgic triangle.
They should do a Rocketeer, Dick Tracy, Shadow shared universe. Maybe throw the Phantom in
art,
there.
but that would be amazing. I mean, yeah, just all the pulp heroes would be brilliant.
That'd be a lot of fun, and just have them all in World War II, just punching Nazis. I would be totally for that. I would love that. The other thing, okay, is anyone? I know Alex, you're not caught up yet, which is why we're not doing a Penguin review. AJ, have you been watching the Penguin?
No, I don't care.
Don't care.
I don't care. I
don't care about Penguin.
Everyone, here's the thing. I'm here. It's fantastic, but I'm so tired of people going, "This is the greatest thing. You have to watch it." I'm like, stop. There's too many great things, and I'm like still catching up on Buffy. So I'm like, I don't
care. You're way behind.
I know. I'm so behind. I just asked my girlfriend. I was like, "Do you want to watch Xena?" I've never saw Xena, and I was like, that seems like fun.
Xena is fun.
I hear the show's great, not Xena, Penguin, but I'm just like, I can't do any more stuff.
I get this when I haven't caught up on something yet, and everyone tells me how great something is. I also have this weird pushback.
Yeah, like Breaking Bad took me like 6 years after it was over. I was like, fine, I'll watch Breaking Bad, or like Mad Men took like a decade. Yeah,
right. And I do if I haven't jumped on from the beginning, then I do that whole pushback thing too of you have to watch it. I'm like, well, no one's shutting up about it, so I don't really care.
I don't want to. Yeah,
and I do the exact same thing, so I understand that. However, I was getting with the Penguin, what I was trying to like what it's connected to with Touchstone here, the makeup process on Colin Farrell reminds me of all the villains.
Oh yeah, right.
Tracy. It's that same like transformative. You'd never know who the actor is underneath all of that.
Are there other villains that are like that? That's like, this is Hammerhead. Like, are there other guys like this is Pencil Neck? Because then I'd be like, you know what? I'm watching the Penguin because there's a hot dog face. That would be. I would love that.
Egghead, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Right. Just any of them. But I feel like it's, I'm not going to try and get into the Penguin because I know Alex hasn't seen it yet. And I'm just trying to keep, but it's just that whole, I love that kind of stuff though, too. That whole kind of character makeup. Like when Star Wars does it with aliens and stuff. I love it. I appreciate anybody who can do it because I can't imagine how uncomfortable that would be to do 12 hours a day.
I got to do it once. But it was just for a friend who does special effects makeup. This lovely man, Mario, who did a full like fish head prosthetic on me. And I thought I would be claustrophobic, but it wasn't. It was just kind of weird. But then I made the mistake of saying, you know what I've always wanted to do? I always want to rip one of those off. Like, can I rip off the mask?
No.
Which, in hindsight, sounds like, that's a terrible idea. And he's like, go ahead, man. And so I ripped it off like Jim Carrey in The Mask. And then I got chemical burns or like glue from ripping the glue off my face. But you know what? It was fun in the moment.
Did you get the photo of it stretching and you coming out?
I'm sure he has it somewhere. This is a few years ago. I think it was like right before the pandemic happened. And it was very satisfying, but like my skin was all splotchy from just like it was bad.
Right. I couldn't have see he probably was it for like an exam or just like for fun?
It was just for I think he was just making content essentially. He was just like, I just want to like put on prosthetics and show people what it's like to do this. So I don't really know what it was for, but it was fun.
Yeah, because I was like, if it was on set, I could be the makeup artist being like, that took us so long. And like these things are so expensive. Why would you do that? Like,
well, he had to dispose of it afterwards because it was foam latex, and he was like, "I can't use this again." I was like, "All right,
yeah." Well, if you can't use it again, go for it.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
I bet I bet that day 3 of doing the prosthetics, that's too much. Like I bet you could probably get through day 1.
Yeah.
Day 2, you could probably like, all right, I could. Day 3, you're like, this is gonna be every day for like months.
Well, it's not even just the everyday of like wearing it. It's the 3-hour process of taking it on and the 3-hour process of taking it off.
Showing up at like 4 a.m, before like hours before everyone else is gonna work, and then you have to work a full day. I bet you're just like, nope.
Yeah.
Gotta go home. Never want to do this again.
I don't know how people do it. I think that's why most actors are crazy people, is because they can endure that stuff. Like people that have to be on set and like barely have a family life, and it's just like, yeah, because you have to be a crazy person to deal with that, especially in the 80s and 70s, and
I guess that's true. It's like all suffering. It's all like waiting
suffering.
around.
Yeah. It's like people ask, why don't you do on camera stuff? It's like, exactly, it's all suffering. Yeah.
Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like that sounds like the worst. I couldn't do the on-camera stuff either. I don't even think I could do like, it's funny, like my days can be long too, just like working post. But there's something about being able to do it in the comfort of my own home.
You're not covered in fake blood and in the snow and in Croatia in the middle of winter, whatever it is. And you're also, I went to film school, and like just that having like a 15-hour a day where you're filming some horrible student film that of course involves like blood and zombies, and I'm just like, this is the worst. It's January and the blood that has the squib that's gone off 1,000 times is now seeping into my legs, and like, because that had happened multiple times where like so much fake blood, which the smell of it makes me sick now, I can't stand it, would get into your clothes and then freeze, and that was just the worst. So yeah, it sort of turned me off from like when I got to LA, and I was like, I don't want to do any set stuff, and then thankfully fell into voice acting. But the worst. Not to say I wouldn't turn it down if the right thing. What was that? You
can avoid the desert.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
No, that's okay. That is not where I expected this to go.
Nope. Is there a subject for today? We could just derail and talk about frozen blood.
We could apparently there's a Colin Farrell had a penguin penis, I'd heard.
Everything. He had full body.
Yeah.
Just get another guy. Get a different guy. Get a just different guy. I mean, at that point, why?
You think there's like an actor out there who looks exactly like Colin Farrell's penguin? It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
My whole career waiting for this. I was born for that part.
They could have gotten. There are other people. Get Danny DeVito back.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping he was gonna do a secret cameo. I didn't want to ever say it out loud. But there was like, just like, I didn't want to jinx it, so I never said anything.
Right.
But there was always a part of me that was like, man, just a cameo, him being a cab driver.
They got to do something. I mean, seeing him in the Beetlejuice movie, it's like he's ready. Like he wants to have like the bile in his mouth again. Eat a raw fish.
By how underutilized he was in Beetlejuice. He showed up and was like, "Oh, awesome!" And I was like, "Oh, he's gone now."
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you, Clem Fandango. Thank you for being here, Harvey Dent 13. Okay, let's go. Let's try to get to our first topic.
We have topics? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is pretty free rating, but I at least want to talk about what was on the thumbnail at the very, 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 very least. I want to talk about What If Season 3. I don't know if you guys been watching What If Seasons 1 and 2. If not, it's okay.
I have not. I admit I don't know much about it.
I'm more of a penguin guy.
You're more of a okay. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. So I've heard. No, it was just had this really cool reveal at the end that to me, being just a big comic book reader, we've seen this before, usually by Art Adams, I think was the first one he first kind of drew this out. It's the big reveal of Storm.
Yeah, long overdue.
Was not expecting that. One of in our X-Men group chat, which there are several of, someone sent this and was like, "Hey guys, check it out." And I was like, "Yeah, it's What If." And then as I was watching, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is awesome."
Well, they brought in Allison too for it, which I thought
which is fantastic. I'm glad it's her.
Same here. Like it's just like, there's no one like this summer I also picked up the Marvel versus Capcom collection.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, I keep forgetting.
Yes,
to do
we
that.
gotta do. Yes, you do, so that we can fight each other.
Yeah.
I forgot that the original cast did all the voice work for the games.
I think except Gambit. I think Gambit is Tony something.
Oh,
Who has
okay.
a different take on Gambit. He's got more of like a ha kind of sound. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm Gambit. I think he's got a bit of
strike.
yeah. He's
Okay.
got a slightly different tone than Chris Potter.
See, now that you said it, now I hear it.
I can't remember now. My brain is I can't remember any of his stuff, but he's got a bit more of like he sounds more like a DJ than.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think he literally is, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. But as a
Well,
kid, I remember being like, "That's not the voice," but he's the same guy from like season 6, I think.
okay, because I was like, I
Alright.
definitely took for granted because I just automatically assumed that
Yeah, you're
was
a kid. You just go, "Yeah, it is what it is."
that's him, and then I just never questioned it for the rest of my life until today.
Yeah,
And
totally.
then
the
now,
voices are so garbled too in those games.
Yes, there's
yeah.
definitely a distortion to
Yeah.
them,
Well,
which I love.
I don't know, man.
Barrage. Yeah,
I can hear Lenore pretty clear,
yeah.
right? Like her and Cal are very, very distinct in those games.
For sure.
I never
Right.
knew that they did because I never really played the games. Like I never had the right system at the right time. Like was
Well,
bad
see,
at fighting games.
I
Like,
didn't either. I had to go to the arcade and plug in quarters, you know, to
one of
play these
those.
things.
Like a rich person.
Like a
Or a poor person, I guess,
Like-
if you couldn't afford the console.
console,
Yeah.
right? I would think like, yeah, it only cost me
Medium
50
income
cents.
person. Yeah.
Right, but then again, you think of how many tokens you threw into that thing. Because even when they re-released the games just recently, I was like, I totally forgot how hard X-Men Children of the Atom is.
Right.
And I'm not bad at fighting games, but holy crap, I can, once I'm hit Colossus, that's it. I cannot beat Colossus. He just throws me around, and I'm just like, what is happening? I'm not usually bad at these games, but it's
All the X-Men games are hard, at least in my the early ones. Like the first Sega Genesis one was brutal.
oh
And
my god,
the
did you ever play the
Nightcrawler.
Nintendo one where they're just cubes?
I'm aware of it, but I never played it, thankfully.
Okay, so here's we're derailing already.
We're
but this is great.
derailing. Sorry.
Uh,
Let's talk about Storm.
We're talking about Storm, but she's in the game, so it's okay. When I was a kid, we went to this garage sale in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and this person had milk crates filled with Nintendo games. And this is like still early Super Nintendo. Wow, I'm really aging myself here, but that's okay. And it just had like games. So this bin's $5. This bin's $10, right? And I was like, what? For Nintendo games in the box?
That's
Is-
insane. Even
took
now, that's crazy. Yeah.
What truck did these fall off of?
This
right?
this sounds like the story that like the kid on the playground tells you, who has like the uncle who works for Nintendo Japan and has like
Yeah.
a golden Nintendo 64.
Something wild, right? And it
They were
and
all
at that-
$5 for every game that was ever made.
well, I really tried to push my luck with my parents, and I was like, can I get more than one? And they were like, no. But I saw the X-Men was in there. It didn't look good on the back at all. But that box art got me because I was like, you can play as Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
Are you Iceman? Are you kidding me? I gotta play this. I get home. It was the worst $5 I ever spent as a kid.
I'm so sorry.
Iceman, more like ice cubes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so bad. It is. The game is hard. It is gross looking. It is. It is not fun in any sense. I don't know what they were I don't know what it was, the game, but again, the box art, I just displayed the box. So I actually still have the game, but I still have the box and it's all complete, because why would I play it? So I just played the LJ and Wolverine game. Also not great by any stretch of the means, but it was a lot more fun than that. But you're right, like all the games were hard. The Sega Genesis games were hard.
Sega Genesis game was unforgiving. Up until like the Magneto or the plane that you're on where you have to jump in the stupid asteroids, and then the next level where I think it's Juggernaut, where you could take Nightcrawler all the way to the elevator, go up to the top. I'd always die there. I beat it once because I finally figured out what reset the computer meant. Through some sort of, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Mojo one?
This is, yeah, where it's like, I forget what causes it, but this is like the most famous thing I think about the game is when they're like, reset the computer, but you're locked in a room, and as a kid, you're not going to reset on your Genesis, because why would you?
Right.
Right.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
I know what they must mean.
They must mean that I'm going to destroy my progress, because I've seen that in other games. Like, that's so cruel, but yet so brilliant.
Yeah. Those games for Genesis though, they looked so beautiful.
Oh, they were gorgeous.
Like,
I still have all those. Aladdin.
The one for Game Gear also looked beautiful.
Does it? Interesting.
Right? Like
I never played it. I don't know anything about it.
Dude, you could play as Nightcrawler and you could play as Gambit. It was like one of those things for me as like a teenager where I was like, because at that time in the comics, Gambit and Nightcrawler did not interact.
Right.
Like those were very rare occurrences. It would have to be like the X-Men guest starring in Excalibur, because Excalibur never guest starred in X-Men.
It's funny, those X-Men characters that like never were in the books at the same time, like Jean Grey and Kitty Pryde, like they didn't meet until like the mid-90s.
The end of the mid-90s, and then when this was my first devastating blow in comics where they canceled Excalibur, and it was like, you can cancel books. Why would you cancel this book? This book is like the best book ever. And then I realized, wait, I'm the only one still reading this comic book.
That's why they worked you into it. You can see him at Captain Britain's wedding.
Is this the real thing?
This is real. Well, kind of.
You look really hard in the background there.
Oh, okay.
It was, but it was. It felt like it was, like, because it was my book. It was my book.
That's how they sold it. Yeah.
Right. That's how that was. That was always in previews. Ryan Dole's book, issue 41. Let's go. And man, I remember being like so devastated. And then, of course, like, the next month in previews, in the Marvel previews, the cover was Coming Home, and it was Kitty Pryde, Colossus, Nightcrawler, and they're back joining the main team again. Because I actually didn't know what was going to happen with them, because I thought, well, this is it. My crush, Kitty Pryde, she's gone. Right? Nightcrawler. Yeah, right. And all of a sudden it was like they're back on the main team, and it was so exciting. And then sure enough, the main team was like Nightcrawler, Colossus, Kitty, Cyclops, Gambit, Rogue. And I was like, this is it. This is it. It's my dream team. This is it. This is everything I could ever ask for. I love it. I love it. We totally went off the rails.
Yes, we did. I have nothing to add to this.
Yeah.
So we talk about Storm. Awesome. Glad Allison's back. She looks amazing as Thor. Would she be Storm?
Yeah, Storm. Can we make Storm a
Storm? Store?
We could definitely try. I think what is it? There was a name. She did have a name. I feel like it was just like the goddess or something.
Sounds about right. Goddess of Thunder would be
Goddess of Thunder. Yeah. Like, it just makes perfect sense. The Queen of Asgard, like, that's how I picture this. That's what would happen to her. I feel if she went to Asgard, she would just come in and be like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, we're cleaning up.
Yeah. You put that beer down. We're done. None of this. Right?
Get shit together.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. This got me totally hooked. I already loved the show to begin with. I just really hope that Marvel Legends is already on top of it.
Yeah, come on.
As I do want a toy of this.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If any other company is making animated X-Men toys, especially anyone here in the room, if you also want to make this as your, as your exclusive timed edition
statue, you get someone like Iron Studios or something to make a big statue of that. Yeah,
Iron Studios, Sideshow. Well, I guess Iron Studios, they get distributed through Sideshow. Am I correct?
I'm not sure any of that stuff.
They're because they're a South American company. Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just even that, like, the Art Adams cover was it the X-Men annual where like you first see her as
well, it's her and the New
Thor?
Mutants. They're all up in Asgard, hanging out, chilling.
Just that cover of her swinging the hammer would be so cool as a statue.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like now with X-Men kind of really in the limelight again, as it deserves to be. This has been a very good year for me. I'm going to say that.
Only you.
Yeah. I'm sure other people are enjoying it too, but I mean, like, we even got the announcement at New York City Comic-Con. They're doing a Savage Land Rogue comic series.
Oh, amazing. I'm not up on everything. So the things happen. I'm just like, whoa, what's this? Yeah.
And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, this
all the variant covers are like the Russell Dowderman and the Kari Andrews.
Yeah.
I can't keep track of all there's the comic shop I go to. They're like, we're setting aside all the variants for you. And I'm like, you don't have to set aside every variant. I'm like, can't afford all of these.
Oh, I think
$200.
Yeah, exactly.
The way it sounded, I was like, they're giving them to you. Like,
no, I wish. They're just like, we set them all aside. And I'm like, that's super kind of you, but like, I'll take one with Gambit on it.
Yeah, seeing as they're like $5 an issue for a
one
comic
of them was like 14. Right? I was like, what? I don't need this one, but thank you.
That's the one to get. I
was like, I'm good. Yeah.
Right, but because they're doing, like, we're getting all of this stuff now where it's just I feel like the fans themselves are just like, this is stuff I felt like I've always been cheerleading by myself in a weird way.
Yeah, no,
because it's just like, oh, why aren't more cosplayers doing this? And it was always like, at that time, like when I guess Jessica Nigri is still like major popular, but all of a sudden it's like, I am surprised with all these like thirst trap cosplays, no one's touched Savage Land Rogue.
Well, it's everywhere now, at least in my feed.
Yeah, mine too. We have very good algorithms, I'll tell you that.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's most of my feed now is Rogue cosplays, which is I'm not trying to create, but it's just the nature of it's like Gambit and Rogue cosplays, and there was like a period of time where it was like all Savage Land, and I was like, this could be worse.
This could be yeah. And now we're getting the Madeline Pryor cosplays are coming out in a flood.
It's crazy because it's such a character that was not ever in the forefront in a way that was like, Madeline Pryor was not someone I would consider like, one of the main X-Men, and now it's everywhere. And I'm like, this is wild.
I won't believe it until I see someone cosplaying in just the jumpsuit from the Outback era, or it's just wore like a green jumpsuit.
But the thing with
then I'll know that Madeline Pryor has arrived.
Yes.
Yeah. But what's going to make or break that particular cosplay is going to be the wig, because that's when her hair was at her most grand.
I want to see more. This is speaking of hair, Lalandra from the GR Empire. Just that like a sprite, it's just like a 2D sprite on her head that like if she turned this way, it would maybe also turn with you. It was
like Mickey Mouse's ears.
Yeah, exactly. As she turns her head, the hair stays. Yeah, that's because that is such a fun. I've seen it. I feel like I've seen it once, just like online, but I've never seen one in person. And I feel like it's a really funny one that more people need to do.
I feel like we're missing a lot. But I think that's one great thing about X-Men in general is that everyone has 100 costumes.
Yeah,
and it's the best. It's more Colossuses too. I need more of that.
I feel like the cosplay game at New York Comic-Con was very high.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, I felt it was nice to have, because I had, we were all the X-Men were sitting in a group that it was like it got to filter most of the X-Men towards us, so we got to see a majority of the X-Men cosplays. And like the one or two times I left my booth, whenever I saw someone in X-Men cosplay that I didn't see come to our booth, I was like, wait, no, why didn't you come over to us? Just at very least to like walk past, because it's always like, wow, cool. How did you do that? That's one of my biggest issues, is constantly asking people like, what is that? What did you make that out of? Or me being like, oh, I can see how you put this. Oh, you got that from like one of the best, this is so random, but one of the best rogues I saw. I was like, oh my God, your costume's phenomenal. Like, what is it? And she was like, Spirit Halloween. And I was like, wow. Like, and it was, for whatever reason, it had the greatest fit, like the texture, the colors, and like, it was so, Spirit Halloween's not exactly known for making cosplay level, but I was just like, it worked so well. The Gambit's not quite as nice, but for Rogue, I was like, this is phenomenal. It was one of my favorite ones I saw, even though, it's funny because other people spend hundreds of hours or whatever it is making it. And I was like, this is my favorite one. It works brilliantly.
Yeah. And always ask a cosplayer about their costume. Because
that's why my line doesn't move, is because I'm like, what is this? How did you do that? Yeah. How did you make those boots?
They want to be appreciated too, right? They love, and plus hearing it from like any of if they're going in as X-Men and any of the X-Men cast is just, geeking out over them and their fandom. That's got to put them on such a high.
I'm glad to hear it, because for me, I'm literally just interested. Like so many Gambits showed up with like the face thing, the head sock, and the one thing that I saw is that all people, the ones that looked good, were all bought from the same place, and it was like it's like a balaclava you can get on Amazon that you can cut out the thing. And I was like, brilliant! I'm writing that down. I didn't wind up doing one for my cosplay because I look like an idiot in it, but
so you did make one?
I did make one. I made one out of neoprene, and I tried making one out of just like a flexible, why can't I think, lycra. And then I did also buy that balaclava, but I just look stupid, and I was like, the world doesn't need to see this. So you'll never see it, because I was like, I just look like a kid that like someone's grandma squeezing their cheeks. It looks great in comics, because then you could draw highlights and you could see like the edge of people's jaws and stuff, and like, okay, that works.
You gotta shave the sides of your head and paint it on.
It did. A couple of people were like, just paint it on. And I was like, I think I'd rip all my like the hair follicles when I actually because I thought about doing like latex paint.
Yeah. If you're going to be doing a big photo shoot of your Gambit with all the poses, please do one where you're on a motorbike with smoke hanging out, right? Like that Jim Lee style, like legs out and just waiting for Rogue to get out of the mansion so you can.
If I ever get access to a motorbike, I'll try to find some way to.
Dude, you live in Los Angeles. There has to be somebody.
It's true. It's true.
Tom Cruise.
So, I'll just ask old Tommy C. Just head over to the Scientology Center and be like, hey, what's up? Let me borrow one of your bikes.
I might have someone for you. I will. When we're done recording, I will see if I can put you in touch with somebody in Burbank with motorbike.
I think I know. One of my friend has a motorcycle. I'm just lazy.
Oh, I was like, you had like
my buddy James has one, so I could just bother him. But I don't know if I'll send me reference of what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I will. Dude,
please.
It's one of my favorite. It's the same issue as the basketball issue.
It's the one with I can picture the.
Does he have sunglasses? Like
I don't.
He's super cool.
He's super cool.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate Gambit cosplay. You got to get a vinyl trench coat and like a hard plastic collar that's sewn into the armor, like the first Toy Biz toy.
Yes, that's what my jacket that I have reminded me of. I actually ordered a cotton jacket off of Amazon because I didn't have time. I was like, I'm going to sew the jacket. And I bought a pattern and everything. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not sorry. Can I say that? It's like, I'm not. I was like, I'm not sewing this. This is a nightmare. Just said Jay Leno.
Yeah, that's your buddy Jay.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, no, totally. Just buy one of my motorcycles. But the jacket that I did get, they sent by accident, and it reminds me of that plastic thing, whatever that is with the seam that was like really hard when you touched it. Yeah, what they were thinking.
A vinyl smock.
Yeah, that thing's awful.
I have one of those. I have one of those loose and two on card of those Gambits.
I have one on card, and I've handled the one loose, and I hate touching it. But I have my childhood one and Wolverine on card still because I was a weird kid.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch on card because I couldn't help myself. Like when it got to a point where I was an adult, and all of a sudden these things were just like Toy Biz X-Men, 5 for.
Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I care. And that's when I was like, I'm getting Nightcrawler on card. I'm getting Wolverine on card, Gambit, Rogue. But I was also gifted a Gambit. Another one, why I have 2 on card is one is on the Japanese card from Japan.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, this is rad.
When it comes to Gambit, you can never have too many cards.
Oh, well played.
Speaking of too many gambits, I actually have 2 of the Mondo gambits for some strange reason, which is awesome because I have the one that's, you know, in the box, and then another one that somehow there was a miscommunication, and I was handed another one by someone through Mondo, and I was like, oh my god, thank you, I have this, and they're like, oh, we didn't know, and I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, hey man.
Yeah, no, that thing's beautiful.
now you can display 2 different gambits with 2 different portraits.
I could have them hugging.
One's Mystique.
One's Mystique, exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping. I mean, I know you guys are. I've probably said this. I'm hoping they do some '97 stuff. That's my dream.
Yeah.
I'll stare into your eyes as I say that.
Well, there's what? There's Wolverine has some '97isms.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, no, like I mean, we're working it in. Like you know, it's kind of like.
Oh yeah, is Cyclops? Did they do a '97?
It's so like I'm trying to kind of like bridge the gap where it's like it just kind of feels like it just like satisfies like fans of both, you know.
Right.
So but yeah, I mean you could see like it's like the hair is kind of like this. I mean the designs are similar enough between the shows that like you can give enough like mix and matchable parts that like
even just a different head for Gambit for '97 would be like more than enough for me. I'd be like, cool, there we go. Because the chest is slightly sleeker in '97, but other than that, it's roughly the same.
Yeah.
Because he's more bumpy in the original. But the amount of even before that I was on the show, like my obsession with this stuff was very high. So this is the kind of stuff I fixate on. And his boots are slightly different.
Yeah. The grooves.
Yeah, or in a I'm now an expert on the shape of his boots, and how many slats are in it, and all that stuff.
Because you did Logan, so he's in his like casual wear as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, right? Or just a convention exclusive, right? So it was available at New York as well, I think.
No, we had like a leftover sale, I think, after San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. This would be a great next year. I'm just gonna call it now. Beignet crop top Gambit.
Yep.
Mondo.
Gotta have.
Pressure's on, Alex.
Yeah.
I would.
Exclusive.
It's amazing to me how many. So you were at New York. I saw more crop top Gambits than any cosplay, unless I was just not paying attention, or that's like when you buy a car, you now see your car everywhere. Yeah, I would love a 1/6. I agree.
Right.
But the crop top Gambit, probably because it's easy to do, but I just saw like dozens and dozens and dozens of crop top Gambits walking around. Very brave people with their tummies out. It's funny because I sort of wore like a semi crop top because the shirt that I have is not a crop top, but as I've washed it, it's rolled up higher and higher, which is not something I realized would actually, because I have one from Art of Lucas, and I sort of just trimmed around the bottom a little bit, and then another one from Hot Topic, and it slowly, curls up every time you wash it. And so my abs hurt from the end of the day because I was sucking in my gut, I feel like, and trying to stand properly for the first 2 days. And then the third day, I was like, I'm just wearing a regular t-shirt because my sides hurt.
But now you have a 6-pack because of that day.
Because of that, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the beautiful irony.
Yeah. No, but I love all that stuff that Mondo is doing. I know, Alex, you're right here. I don't know why I'm speaking like
do go on.
Yeah,
no, that's great. And that the Venkman, is gorgeous. Is that
so why thank you.
You did the Venkman, and did you do all the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I'm doing all the Ghostbusters. It's keeping me busy. But yeah, no, it's
so cool. When something is so, this is a weird way to think about this, but when something's so accurate to the cartoon in a way that is like, that's it. That's just what they look like. It's like you almost want to eat it like an ice cream, which is a weird. Like I want to vor Venkman.
That's what I was going for. Yeah,
he's like almost edible looking. It looks so beautiful, and the Slimer's gorgeous, and the prototype. Like man, I would have like sold my limbs as a kid to have that because Venkman was my favorite of the real Ghostbusters. Venkman was my favorite, and then I think for the movies is somewhere between Ray and Winston are my two favorites. But yes, in the cartoon he was the coolest.
Yeah, for sure.
He was great. He was he was
the most normal too, I think, to some degree. He was the one that was like, okay, he's kind of a normal person, whereas everyone else was like, maybe Winston was normal, but like Egon and Ray were always a little
They're a little
out
weird.
there. Yeah, a little weird for a
But-
child.
Yeah, Venkman he's so laid back, and he's even more so than Bill Murray. Lorenzo Music's
Yeah.
vocal performance is just like nothing.
Garfield,
nothing
yeah,
phases
exactly.
this
That
guy.
Garfield
Yeah.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they even managed to still have him like hit on women
yeah, of course.
in
Yeah.
the cartoon, and we thought nothing of it. And like
He's
that's-
still Venkman.
he's still Venkman. It's still super cool that he does that. That cartoon was so, to me, I still feel like, especially the first 2 seasons, way ahead of its time in the sense of like they did scary, spooky stuff for kids.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
It's so good.
Extreme Ghostbusters that followed also did some stuff that like at the time scared the crap out of me. Like I think I was like 13 or something, and I
Yeah.
still was like upset by. They did like Cenobites and like
Yeah,
killer
the
clowns
Cenobites.
and
Yeah.
stuff that was just like, this is terrifying. But yeah, Real Ghostbusters had that weird Japanese texture. There was like a manga texture to the village, like right in the beginning when you see all the monsters sort of like piling up on each other.
Yeah.
There's a visceral texture to them that is scary. But
Some of the episodes are actually done by like the animators who worked on Akira, and like because
perfectly
that-
makes sense.
it was that kind of that era where I think there was sort of like a economic fallout in Japan. So like there were tons of like incredible animation talent that could lend their services to, foreign projects like Ghostbusters.
It came out amazing. It
Yeah.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
How do we turn my Prince? I know no one else but you and me, Alex, know this really is. How do we turn my Prince Lotor now into a workable figure?
Yeah, no, it's
Is it doable? Can I do it?
Yeah.
Is there a way? I
It's
based it off of the original superhero action figure like joints, so it's the worst thing in the world. Like those Superman and Wonder Woman and Batmans that were just like 4 points of articulation or 5.
Are you talking about superpowers?
Superpowers, thank
Yeah,
you.
they are like
that
the
is
greatest.
Ryan's
Yeah, that's like
favorite.
But
I
the articulation's not good. So that's what the inside of the body was. Is I was like, let me just, because someone had done a 3D scan of it online, and I just grabbed that and then stuck it inside what I sculpted, and it's a disaster in there. But anyway, I don't really know what I was asking.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, AJ is an amazing sculptor in his own right.
Thank you.
He sculpted Prince Lotor, who you voice on Voltron.
I wanted a figure.
And you made a figure. It's an awesome figure, and you sent it to me to look over, and it looks awesome. But you're saying there's like a superpowers 3D scan inside?
Kind of. Yeah, I like had taken off pieces of its arms and neck, and it's definitely not. It was my first time really using Nomad. Like the Gambit chest and this were the first times I've done that. So, and I haven't broke it down into pieces, and I could send you the pieces if you'd like to examine them. But I'm just like, is it possible to make this work? The hair was the thing that killed me. I don't know how you guys do that. Like
the hair's awesome. It's really impressive because you've got like, it's got nice kind of like the like ridges and stuff on it. It's got a nice flow. Like, yeah, hair's hard.
So hard. The thing about sculpting, which I'm sure you can appreciate versus drawing, like I can draw, but I don't like it, is with sculpting, you can brute force it to some degree. Is you're like, does that look like a pumpkin or does that look like a face? And it's like, no, I can keep going. Whereas the drawing, I feel like there's a lot of like heady stuff and tricks you have to do where it's like foreshortening. And whereas with a sculpt, I think is you constantly have to turn it around and look at it. And it, especially if you're physically sculpting, you hold it up in a mirror, and it's like you can brute force something in a sculpt that you couldn't in a drawing. At least that's how I feel.
Having the that 3D already done for you, the actual because like perspective and like you said, foreshortening is such a difficult part of drawing, that for that to have that part of it like in place, it does help.
Yeah, a hand is a hand and a face is a face, and
but I feel like drawing too has like, because you can kind of like, because like warp tools and like liquefy and stuff, you can like move things around more in a digital drawing, kind of like you can with a sculpture, like more than you used to at least like kind of like, feel like, oh no, this like proportion needs to be like that. I'm gonna, it's
right.
It's
There's definitely more you can do, but I get like hot and sweaty when I have to draw versus like when I'm sculpting. I'm like, okay, this I can make this work because it. I always say it is what it is, but it's like, does it look like a cat? No, I can keep going. Yeah.
I always felt like I had like, it was like weights on trying to draw, and then when I started sculpting, it was like the weights were off, and I could just
totally
like do everything that I had in my mind.
it's your stuff's amazing. If you ever have you done an episode where you get interviewed to talk about what your process was? Because I would listen to that because I'm curious how you got into this.
I mostly just like field compliments. That's like
Yeah, it's true.
praise, you know. But
that's great. I'll lavish all the praise on you. Your stuff is amazing.
It's true. We should just do a breakdown episode one day of just like even the difference between trying to replicate X-Men and trying to replicate Bruce Timm's Batman.
Yeah.
And what
I think that's how I found your stuff was the Bruce Timm stuff because I was making a custom figure of 10 from Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah.
Who's one of my favorite designs ever. I did like a Melanie, her without her mask that I made for my girlfriend because we have a cell of them together of Terry and Melanie. And I was like, I'd love to make a custom. So I took a Bat Girl and a Catwoman, or no, it was a Poison Ivy and a Catwoman and mashed them together and was sculpting it physically with Magic Sculpt. But like the Bruce Timm stuff is so specific and so hard to nail.
Yeah.
No.
But again, you do that too. Like it's like we you look at the Peter Venkman, like Davey Sockrocker said, it's like it walked off the screen.
Yeah, it's
what do you
gorgeous.
do? Well, X-Men, same deal. And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, your Bruce Timm stuff, that Scarecrow that you just dropped. Well, that you didn't drop, but I mean Mondo dropped, and I mean that's pre-order now. We'll get to that in the plugs at the end of the show. But it's like that too. Just it's so even all the different portraits, it's so specific.
Yeah,
like
there's no questioning who that.
I feel like there's like kind of like an obsessive component to it that like AJ, like it sounds like when you're working on a voice and perfectly matching these voices and these actors, it's like, yeah, it's there's an obsessive quality of like trying to get it like as accurate and notice as many details as you can, right? Like
for sure. I mean, for me, like whenever I've done, like for the first thing I did was Marty McFly, or like with anything Harrison Ford, I'm like, I don't want people to associate me to this in any capacity. I don't want there to be a style to my character. I just want it to be that. Yeah. I want it to be there to be, which I mean, I think is what your stuff doesn't necessarily have a style. It just is, which I think is its own style. You know, it's like, like I just wanted to sound like a replica of Michael J. Fox or Harrison Ford, or like for Gizmo, it's just, nope, they just did it. Yeah. But 30 years ago or 40 years ago or whatever it is. And so, yeah, it is. But that takes obsessive studying and obsessive, like, does this sound right? And it's funny for the
error.
and I'm sure you've come across this too. I don't even know what the subject of this episode is about at this point. We're just talking about stuff. But for turnarounds, for animation, they make turnarounds where it's like, this is what the character looks like from the side, from the front, and all that stuff. But for Prince Lotor, it didn't match. Like when he turned sideways, it was like Charlie Brown, where like his nose changes when he turns sideways. And like Lotor's, I had to sort of make these weird concessions where I was like, okay, from the front, he looks like this, but from the side, he's slightly different. And then trying to make the sculpt match that was bananas. And I kept sending it to my friends, Lauren and Joaquin, who are the producers on the show, and be like, does this look right? You know, just to try to get someone else on this. And I'm happy with how it came out, but boy, what a nightmare. And I'm sure you've come across that too, where you're like, they don't work the same way.
Well, just doing Batman Beyond recently, like
I was about to say, Batman Beyond probably falls under that.
Yeah, his head is because it's like from the 3/4, he has this kind of like curved sort of like cheekbone.
Is there like a reflection there, right? That's
so he's got like the shadow is like kind of sunken, like angular cheeks, but then it's like got a curved silhouette. Because like Terry McGinnis Unmasked has like that same curve, but then he's got this like pointed chin. But then he's also got like kind of like there's like a plane here that you can see by the so it's like there's all kinds of crazy surfaces going on there. So like that was like a real process of trying to get every piece in place so that like he looks right from the front, he looks right from the 3/4, from the side. Like, you know, it's working on animation that has like good model sheets and turnarounds, like that certainly helps. Like the Batman Beyond model sheet was done by Darwin Cook. You know, he's an amazing artist. So like it was, you know, it's laid out, but then even then, it's like you also want it to still feel like the show, and sometimes like the show deviates from the model sheets, so you kind of there's a lot of like
the Gambit model sheets are not like the cartoon, like the original one that's even on the box are not the same. Like his boots are different, and there's different things about it that it's
Yeah,
like,
the
yeah.
original X-Men cartoon definitely had that, like, it is just a completely different character
Oh,
from
yeah.
the hair is completely different. But the new X-Men 97, amazing model sheet turnarounds.
Their
Like, it
consistency
is
is insane.
so consistent. Yeah.
It's funny when the trailer came out, people were like, "It's CG, it's CG," and I was like, "It's not CG, it's Studio Mirror. It's all." I mean, they may use reference that's CG, but they're not. It's hand animated, as far as I'm aware. And yeah, it's crazy because that's how consistent they are.
Yeah, because it's the way the characters are designed too. It's like all the like the hair is all broken down properly, and just like they're very well constructed.
Yeah, that was something I was trying to find when I was making my costumes. Like, someone give me a turnaround sheet, and I eventually was able to get one from someone in production. But like, it's not public, you know. But I was just like, please help me.
Not yet. The art of book comes out in June next year.
Is that a thing? I wasn't.
You can pre-order it. You can pre-order the book.
I'm gonna have to then.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Kevin, yes. Beyond is Darwin Cook. It's Darwin Cook, Shane Glines, and
I guess Glenn Murakami maybe worked on it.
Right. There's a third name. But Darwin Cook, Shane Glines did all the women. And that's very apparent.
Yeah, like 10 is like that 10 design is so good. I mean, the blonde sleek, sort of dreadlocks, you know,
yeah, which are also inconsistent in the turnaround. When you turn around, it's like, oh, the dreads move. Which is why I wish I had it with me, but I don't. It's I love that design so much, and the simplicity of that. As a kid, it's funny, that character specifically, I think because I liked her better than Dana, Terry's girlfriend. I was just like, she's awesome. She's his Catwoman, and she had a cool story, whereas Dana didn't really have much going for her. At least I thought so.
I shipped Terry and Dana. I want to see it work out between those two.
Because Bruce never got that. That's why I wanted Terry to have it.
Yeah, exactly. But they got each other. They both had weird parents, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I tried sculpting that as a kid. That was the thing, is I had a Chun-Li figure where I cut the hair off and tried painting the 10 figure when I was younger, because I had, you know, Batman. I wanted a villain or something. And I remember using Tester's paint on it, and it never drying properly, and it smelled really bad.
Was it like enamel?
Yeah. It was the enamel Tester's paint, because as a kid, it's like, it's acrylic or this, and I was like, oh, this sticks, but then it never dried.
I painted the Kenner Two-Face toy, who had kind of like a bluish plastic for the white part of his suit. Like one of my first ever like customs was painting the like bluish part white with enamel paint. That was like my fingerprints were all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is your fingerprints would settle into it, and eventually maybe it would harden, but not. Yeah. The things we didn't know as kids.
Hey,
but that's where we start. That's where
exactly.
But yeah, that's what's cool about so Bruce Timm, obviously, like amazing artist, like master of design, and his hand is in all those Batman shows. But all kinds of artists like contributed design. So like Kevin Nolan, like so much of the like original Batman the Animated Series, if you look closely, like Scarecrow, that is like a total Kevin Nolan design. Killer Croc, Man Bat, like, and or
Mike
like
Mignola.
Mike Mignola, doing Mr. Freeze, like, so, and they all kind of get
him. I didn't realize that. That's so perfectly sort of silhouette, and
that kind of like 40s like space age suit, like the like rings, So, but it all gets kind of like, you know, gets that like Bruce Timm kind of brush painted over it, but it's all different kinds of contributions that you kind of start to see the design elements peeking through the more you look at it.
It's
awesome.
I do love that. It's the Batman Beyond. Sorry, I just have to go back to Batman Beyond for one hot second, just because I feel like Alex has now just put Batman Beyond like back in the spotlight. Thanks to that.
Back in the mix.
Well, that toy sold out in like what? Like that was like
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Well, I mean, there were only 1,000 made, but and by the way, a regular edition is on its way. So if you missed out, don't worry. You'll have a chance to get a Batman Beyond at some point.
So we need more Batman Beyond content, period. So the fact that exists. I had a weird one from the Warner Brothers store that was probably roughly the same proportions. That was like a big one, but it could only like stand kind of, and then would fall over all the time.
Yeah.
So
well, when Batman Beyond came out too, we never got those like Batman animated series. We got those definitive toys of like, you know, all the villains and Batman and Robin. And Batman Beyond, we really didn't get that.
Well, they really departed stylistically from the show, like because like they didn't even like, you know, he was like a much more muscular, like wider stance. Like it looked more like the Total Justice figures that like Kenner was doing at the time, and like the
wide leg stance
that,
and
they didn't have that like model sheet look to them.
Yeah, they were all kind of semi-transparent and green. They were,
I love the variant colors though.
Yeah.
Like
so funny. I hated those as a kid because I was like, Batman doesn't swim underwater. Yeah,
but like now as an adult, there's one where it's like one half is white and the other half is this like checkerboard, like, you know, or like houndstooth made out of bat symbols. It's so wild looking.
Insanity.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm kind of hoping that like now that sold so well that I'm like, okay, Mondo, open the floodgates. Let's get the definitive Rogues Gallery. And
I'd love to do. Yeah, I mean, because
there's
a
10, I'll buy that in a heartbeat. I'm sure it'll
10.
be. Bruce would be next with Ace, and then I feel like there's a pecking order, and then 10 would be like very low. Ink would probably be up there.
I think Ink would have to be up there. Blight's obviously up there. Some of the Jokers.
Oh yeah,
but
like, the Jokers. Dee, come on.
Oh
Dee,
yeah.
But the thing with Batman Beyond as well is he fought a lot of gangs. There wasn't ever like, so even when you're doing Royal Flush Gang, like if you did 10, I wouldn't even be mad if you did like, here's the family.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like it's just like, here's a $400 4-pack.
A lot more than that, I think.
Well, I mean, double that, double the price on that. But it would just be like, you know, the basis for that too. You could do the cards. Ah, dude.
Yeah.
On the floating cards that they'd fly on. Yeah.
So
Batman
good.
Beyond is as not overrated, as well loved as it is by people who know it, is underrated in the zeitgeist. Like I feel like there's just doesn't have the every time you bring it up, people freak out, kind of like the original X-Men. And then someone's got to do something with it. Like I don't necessarily want to see a live action movie unless it's like insanely close to what the show was, but like do an Into the Spider-Verse thing or something where it's like
I would rather have it animated.
I think like a X-Men 97 style revival would be
incredible.
Cool. Because one of the things I definitely revisit Batman Beyond. Like I did it for research for the character. Like it's awesome, but it does. So like they were doing, I believe, the Batman Superman adventures at the same time, like so the same kind of crew of people were also doing,
and the Zeta Project,
and Static Shock, like so
they were
stretched really thin, so the quality of Batman Beyond definitely kind of like drops off in terms of, in the animation is always kind of, it feels like they're working with what they have, and there's some really cool stuff, but it's not quite on the level of like the Batman the Animated Series, or even like some of the Japanese directed episodes of Superman and the new Adventures of Batman. So I feel like doing a Batman Beyond revival where they really go like hog wild on the like kind of anime, Akira style, like
people would lose their minds.
Cool.
It feels like just it's free money. Warner Brothers, go for it. Yeah, people would lose their minds.
It's and just because we were just talking about the movie, like if they kicked it off with a movie in the theaters, and then put it to Max or Prime or whoever wants to take on animation, but I mean, like to have, like, I don't know, man, if they were gonna do like a revival series and like have a continuation, I would have it so that it starts at Bruce Wayne's funeral.
Oh, damn,
dark.
Yeah. But that's where I would do it. I would start it off there. It's Bruce Wayne's funeral, and Terry just got married like a month ago.
To Melanie.
To Melanie.
Yeah, Royal Flush Gang.
I'm down for that.
Dana's gone. Or to Cree Summers' character, like Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Who also, I was just like, I know they're just friends, but like they have more chemistry than him and Dana. I don't know. Dana was always kind of just whatever to me.
It's just she's so long suffering. Like it's like their relationship is like always on the rocks that you're kind of like, but he's Batman. That's why. That's why
I know
he's,
exactly.
Like,
I
never
get tired
there.
of it. I'm like, yeah. It's
Yeah.
the Mary Jane thing. I'm like, it's boring.
It is the Mary Jane, but I miss Mary Jane in the comics a lot, or at least the Mary Jane I knew. But no, Dana, I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with Dana. I just was, as a kid, I was like, these two make sense together. They share the same crazy.
But she's supposed there. It's supposed to. That's what makes that love triangle work, because it's
great.
Dana's the one, but like 10, that's his Black Cat. That you're right. Black Cat, that's his Catwoman.
Yeah,
that's the temptation, right? Like there's another. What is it? The second episode 10 appears in, and it starts off with her trying to go straight. She's working in that restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like just that one always sticks in my head too, where I'm just like, I could see it, man. I could see where he's just like Dana's being kept out of the loop. She doesn't know about Batman. She's just getting mad and annoyed all the time. Like, why are you doing this to this poor woman? Just let her go.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I like the love triangles, and that's again.
It is fun. I'm just a fan. That's who I ship.
I totally get that too. Alex, just make more.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We're looking to you to save us.
I'd be so down. I mean, yeah, Mr. Freeze, like
you saved Ghostbusters, saved Batman Beyond.
And then after that, you're done. You don't have to save any more franchises. You basically got all of them.
Yeah.
Ride off into the sunset.
Oh, you could do Sunset Riders, the video game. You could do that too.
That's
no idea what that is.
Oh, did you? So in the 90s, when they were getting all those like amazing side scroller beat 'em ups, again, X-Men, dude, you got to do all those X-Men too. Prior to the X-Men, do those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. make sure those happen at some point. We got what else? Like Turtles in Time. There was a Spider-Man game that I think a lot of people also do not remember.
Double Dragon,
all that kind of stuff. There, Simpsons was another one. But there was another game called Sunset Riders, and it was for cowboys.
I do know this. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The name didn't ring a bell, but the Cowboys I remember. Yeah.
And I was like, we never got a home console release of it, and we never got toys. So Alex, save us. Right. Okay. Speaking of toys, I'm going to go into one more quick topic thing, because someone had asked about it earlier if we saw this. I know I saw it. I don't know if anyone else saw it, so I'm going to just share it. Oh, hang on. Let's see if I can get it now going. There we go. Okay. Hot Toys has announced.
Oh my God.
Damn, can we show this on this? Oh, it's the Batmobile.
Yeah. God damn it, Al. God damn it. Okay. This is the Bat Missile from Batman Returns. As we know,
just the missile?
Just the missile.
That's like getting just the front half of that McDonald's toy, where it was just basically it's like, where's the rest of it?
The rest of it's another toy that I think you have to buy.
That'll cost like $5,000. No, that's amazing,
right?
But that does feel weird as a fan to be like, wait, where's the rest of it?
Where's the rest of it? Like if you already don't have the other one, it's kind of dude, yeah, I totally get it. I actually, and even seeing it like this, like from a side angle profile, I was like, it's a train.
Yeah.
Train.
It looks like that Cruella de Vil. I don't know what kind of car that is. That sort of. I've never looked at it in this form where it's like, oh yeah, it's a 1930s like Giles drive me around style car.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely the most like 30s, 40s Art Deco part of the Batmobile, the Tim Burton Batmobile.
Yeah, it's almost Geiger-esque in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's and this is kind of probably the best look I've ever seen of the Bat Missile.
Usually you just go, and it's gone, and that's kind of the whole experience.
There's motion blur when we just see it kind of disconnect. It goes into an alley, so we only see it from behind, and then it's gone. So this has probably been the best and coolest look I've ever seen of the vehicle. In fact, I didn't even realize there was 4 like there's 2 wheels, like there's so many wheels. There's 8 wheels on
a
this
lot of
thing.
wheels.
Right? So I had no idea, but this is like, I think this is super awesome.
It'll certainly be a conversation piece for your non-comic book friends when they come to your house.
Yeah.
So what's up with that car?
Why is it in their top drawer by your head? Like, what is happening?
Oh my god, it's huge. Is that a 1/6?
That is 1/6 scale bat. Like,
wow. Watching people like Adam Savage or like Norm from Tested assemble those giant Ghostbusters cars and stuff, and I'm like, where do these people live that they can just make? It's like, yeah, it's a 1/6 scale Millennium Falcon, and you're like, how? You know, it's insane.
Yeah. Right? You have to live in a bat cave to
have bat
room
cave
for
toys.
this.
Yeah. You have to have no furniture, a spare bedroom,
no kids, no wife,
no
dependents of any kind. Yeah,
right. It's just
no body takes up too much room.
Yeah,
you just have to be a consciousness floating in a toy collection.
Yeah,
just a lot of free space. Like, it's just, oh my god. Okay, sorry. I have to, Kevin. Sometimes you are really funny. Yes, this photo is pixelated in Japan. That's I don't get that joke, but it's really funny, Kevin. This is but no, you're right. Like, I don't know where people put vehicles. My buddy Paul, he collects like these big like the Hot Toys. I think he got the DeLorean time machine. But the Batmobiles are even bigger than that. Right, like, it's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's only a piece of it. Like, that's not even the Batmobile.
No, it's not. Like, this is the one where it's like, I don't have the shelf space to have the whole thing.
Yeah,
I'll just get half a bat. I'll just get the middle.
So wild.
Yeah, I mean, like, if so, that Batman figure is 12 inches in height, probably. So if you put him horizontal, there you can put 3 of them,
it's like 2.5 to 3 feet,
and there's still room.
Yeah.
Are
they gonna sell the Batmobile that it slides into eventually, which would be very strange because it would be like, here's a shell.
I don't know if
that
they
should
would
be like the deluxe collector deluxe edition. You get the 2 other parts of the
right. That actually would be a lot of fun to do that. I don't think they just will. I think they're just gonna I think there's just more money in them to sell just 2 different Batmobiles.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it just makes me think of the McDonald's toy with you guys know what I'm talking about, the spring-loaded. Dude,
I have that thing. I have one still in the bag. I love that thing. That is like one of my favorite. I love Happy Meal toys as a kid. I love them now as an adult. I wish I had the space and the money to just free for all buy like Hot Toys 1/6 scale Batmobiles and Bat Wings and all that stuff. Because like even the DC Direct Batmobile and Batcave and stuff that I have, they take up real estate.
Yeah.
But I had to
hang them on the wall.
I'm not doing that. I refuse to hang things from the ceiling, and I refuse to. Well, unless they're like on card, I'll hang like certain characters on card. But like this is right. It's so cool. And now like there's this wonderful 1/6 scale war happening between companies to make Batman Returns toys.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, this is the first show since we have presumably pre-ordered the Jazz Inc. Catwoman.
Yeah, have you not seen this Catwoman, AJ?
No.
I mean, my god,
we have a large Catwoman statue in our apartment that my girlfriend painted. It's a character we love. She wants to get the Hell Here neon sign for her office space, and
well, have we got a collectible for you guys?
One of my best friends, that's his Catwoman is like obviously like his first crush and his obsession. So anything Catwoman, he's like, no, I don't need it. I need it.
I hear that, dude. I'm with you. The cat, like, have you guys ever seen Big Mouth?
No, but everyone tells me I should.
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. But I'm not going to tell you should watch it. I will say that because it's about kids going into puberty, and so when they go into puberty, they get a thing called a puberty monster that talks to them, When I watched Batman Returns, that's when I got that tap on the shoulder of like, hey,
That was
Joel,
the
you
mask
like that?
for me as a kid.
Yeah.
I was like Cameron Diaz. I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah.
What is this?
I feel kind of funny. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is a 1/6 scale figure.
That's nuts. Wait, so sorry, is this a hot toy or what am I looking at?
No,
Jazz
so this-
no.
Jazz Ink dioramas.
This is where it gets
That's got the teeth.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. I have another site that I can show too. So there's two different versions of this.
Okay. Does it have like an interchangeable head or does she always look like that?
Oh,
Well,
Do you have to brush your teeth to keep her
break it
clean?
down. But
Okay.
she comes with a little toothbrush. But yeah, so basically, Jazz Inc. They got the license to do a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman Batman
Oh
Returns
wow.
internationally. Like they can't sell it in North America because that's Hot Toys sideshow territory, right? But they can sell it everywhere else. But there are third-party sites that are selling. You can buy it through them if you're people like Ryan
$1,000.
and me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's over
That's
a grand.
crazy.
it's so I love the taser,
The taser.
on the leg.
It just looks like a person. It's
Yeah.
some of these things freak me out where it's like, at what point does it become, it's too weird because it's too realistic. Like, there was someone making Indiana Jones. It looks bigger than 1/6, but it was like they were showing how it was like silicone skin and they were popping the eyes in the video. Have you seen that?
Queen Studios.
Yeah. And I was like,
yeah,
it's gorgeous, but I'm like, at a certain point, it's upsetting because
yeah.
it's just like,
If like when medical grade silicone enters into the picture, where it's like they're like threading the
the
beards,
stubble.
and then they're like shaving for the
Yeah.
stubble. Like, yeah.
It was weird, and I was like, I feel like we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Because this is insane though. I mean,
So
I love
it's
it, but
So they have like two different versions. One is like battle damage where like the hair is coming out, and then one is just like the clean version. And each version has like a deluxe that comes with 3 heads for like each. So like it's like a total of 6 heads if you buy both versions. You get the like diorama here. Like
that's
it's
so
crazy.
cool. Are the laces sculpted or are they physical?
I think it's sculpted. So definitely on the heads, I think it's all sculpted because like there's like a lot there's a lot of documentation on the process of the making of this figure, and they did a lot of like trial and error, and they've figured out sort of like the best possible methods for representing all the costume bits.
It's crazy. Yeah, the costuming on some of this stuff. I got to go to Sideshow and meet their costume guy who does their tiny costumes and stuff, whose name escapes me now. And like, I'm like, what a nightmare. What a beautiful nightmare this person has for a job. Because he was talking about how like there was a Spider-Man who like his left arm was like this and his right arm was stretched out, and how they had to like make the costume in this horribly warped way.
Oh,
like,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Where it's like, yeah, this one's like 3 inches longer than the left side because of how it's stretched out and how it moves, and then like the patterns are illogical because it's not like a person where you just put it on. It's like he's bent already, so it has to be like this, and all
those webs have to like
it was
line up.
This is insane, though. I mean, I'm horrified, and yet I need one.
And the sculpts are done by Sean Dabbs, who does a lot of like 1/6 scale like portraits and stuff. Like he does like great Harrison Ford and Michael Keaton and he's like been working on like Michelle Pfeiffer likenesses for years, and like has just obviously mastered it at this point.
Get him on Mark Hamill because no one has gotten it yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There was one. I mean, I guess it was Hot Toys. Like some of them are getting pretty close. There's one that's like pretty impressive.
I think the Mark Hamill thing is almost like because of the accident thing and the plastic surgery he got because of it, we all have sort of this weird image of what he looks like in our head that he'll never match up to. And also because of his face and how he has probably swelling in Empire Strikes Back because of his accident, we are seeing something different, and the swelling probably went down in Return of the Jedi. So we all see something totally different. His nose is completely different in A New Hope.
Yeah, you have to treat it like its own thing. Like that's one of the things about like the Black series is like, you know, sometimes it'll like A New Hope Luke will look pretty much like Empire Strikes Back Luke, and it's like,
and he has to be different. He's got a bit of a bump to his nose.
Yeah,
he looks almost like Christopher Reeve to some degree. He's got a bit of a different look.
Yeah.
And but that's something that I noticed now because I have one of the Hot Toys Luke's, and I'm like, it looks phenomenal, but it's like there's a the Mandela effect almost to how you perceive how he looks. He's one of the hardest person I think to capture, but
they have not really done a Farm Boy or A New Hope Luke. I mean, Hot Toys hasn't really gone back to A New Hope in a while, and
in a long time. Yeah. Because even Carrie too, right? Like she went from like being really young to like a woman throughout that trilogy as well. So even like she looks different.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Bespin across the board for me is how I like all of them to look. Like the way her white outfit in Bespin, and then obviously Han's jacket and Luke's fatigues, that's
Empire's the best one.
Yeah,
it's the best one.
But man, this it's disgusting. It's insane. It's when something is so beautiful or so accurate, it's repulsive to me. How it's transcended art and just become a real tiny person, and it's horrifying, and I love it.
I also want to shout out Viola Wichraka, who painted the paint masters. Like that's the other thing contributing to the eerie realism is like just, I mean, on her Instagram, like she posts like her progress pictures painting them.
I need
and
to check this out. I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, it's like otherworldly how realistic it looks. Hopefully the like figures we get will look even remotely close to like how good what a great job she did. You know, like it's always like, who knows, you know, the better the paint master, the harder it is to like mass produce, right? But like
what's her Instagram, because I need to check this out.
Oh yeah, we'll send it, because right now she's working on an Elvira, and she's working on a Linda Carter. No, is that right? Linda Carter Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Linda Carter. Yeah, it's beautiful paint job. I mean, she did she worked on our McCready and Megan for us. So yeah.
It's crazy to me I mean, I guess we're talking about toys, but like watching, because Sideshow will post a lot of those like paint things they do. Yeah. And they're doing it the same way every time. It's like, we had yellow, we had blue, we did stippling. And it never ceases to amaze me where it's just like, and here's the final product. And you're like, that's insane. Like, how did we get here? I saw the process you did. You showed, like, I sprayed some alcohol and then I did this. And they're so casual about it. And then when you get to the end, I'm like, there's no way. There must have been at some point the devil comes in and then he waves a wand, you know. It's like
anytime I've tried to like replicate it, it's like it just, you see like blue here.
Yep, it's just like it's stuck in their corners.
Like,
because we have some, don't tell anyone, we have some of those knockoff ones that you can get, like someone just cast a bunch of heads off of like I think they're Sideshow figures. It's like Obi-Wan, Carrie Fisher and stuff that you can get on eBay for like $5, because it was like, I need to try this. So we got a whole bunch of these heads just to mess around with. It's impossible. You know, we just have basically these beige heads because we keep, you know, taking them down and then trying it again and taking it down, because it's you have to, that in understanding needs to be semi-inherent. You need to just know how to get there in order to achieve that. I don't know if you can ever teach it. It's so crazy.
It is quite an art.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I found her Instagram, so everyone else can follow along. All right. Viola
Wichraka. Mufasa.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh god. A dead Trump is what that looks like. Why is he sleepy?
Yep. He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. It takes a lot of energy to fix the economy, AJ. Yeah. This is great. God, there's the McCready. Oh, we have a sort of an Obi-Wan like that. It's like a little head like that we keep trying to paint and failing horribly.
Yeah. Right? She does.
Oh my God, the Picard
Picard is so good. Right? Oh, she did your Megan as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And she's pretty.
Oh yeah, dude. she's gorgeous.
It's so funny that like when it's you just assume that I don't put faces to artists, if that makes any sense. I just assume all artists are these like faceless Aku type entities from like Samurai Jack that just create things, you
Right.
know, just amorphous. These are nuts.
But I mean, look at that.
That's
It's so.
insane.
I am ready for Grease 2 1/6 scale.
Yeah,
Like,
come on.
I am ready. I am ready for it. Give me
Where are
the-
my Married to the Mob figures?
Where's yeah?
I need Matthew Modine and his like waking up contraption is like his breakfast machine. It's like Pee Wee Herman style. Like,
I've never seen. I don't know
oh, it's
anything
so
about
good.
this
You
movie.
gotta watch it.
But you had me at Pee Wee Herman Breakfast Machine.
Yeah, I kind of maybe that's a spoiler.
These are
Right,
wait.
it's-
So is this her thing
No,
still, or is it? Oh,
this
this
is
is
Sean Dabs. This is the sculptor.
God, when I see stuff like this, I like want to cry. It's like I can't believe this. Oh my God, the that's amazing. The turban on Arnold.
Oh,
It's right here.
Yes. Sorry, my brain. I can a total recall. Yeah. Or is it Total Recall or is it Yeah, it's Total Recall.
Yeah, it's Total Recall.
Okay, yeah.
I can't
but
recall.
Bloodsport.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
These are so good. But Anakin's also really good.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's Kurt Russell's also just amazing.
Carrie Fisher's an interesting likeness too, because she has a very specific, like just thinking about the Rogue One, the way that looks and how she's hard. She's a hard person.
He might be the hardest likeness, like even harder than Mark Hamill, because I don't think I've like ever seen somebody really nail it.
She's got because this is just I think she had some kind of plastic surgery when she was younger, maybe a nose job or something, which would be common for the time if you're a young starlet. You know, that's incredible. That's a figure. But like that creates this very specific profile and shadowing on the nose, and then she just has a really unique. There aren't other people that look like her. You know, like I can't. She's not cookie cutter. She's very specific looking, and so it's really hard to nail that. Her eyes are such a specific shape, and yeah,
it's also hard with movies because it's like the actors are lit, and it's like that can really change like the look of a face. So like sometimes even like what you expect to see from the movie scenes, that's lighting, that's like that's creating that effect.
But like even Natalie Portman has, how do I say this? Like extreme features to some degree. Her features are you see 3 points and you go, yeah, that's Natalie Portman. Moving on mentally. But like Carrie Fisher is got this. She's such an interesting. Again, her and Mark Hamill have such strange topography.
Yeah, especially during that's awesome. Especially during those movies though too, because it's like they're young,
so their faces are changing.
Mature, like
yeah,
it's like
exactly,
and mature at the same time.
Yeah, like Jenna Ortega is probably pretty simple to sculpt. She's got very specific features. She's got the chin, the nose, the lips. Like you hit those, and the eyes are very specific.
And hair. Look at that, Jim Carrey.
I know, that's great.
Oh man. These are so
alrighty
good.
then.
It's funny, I guess, because I think of it in terms of impressions. Like, because for me, like the hardest people to do a voice match for, whereas like you're not doing an impression, but that's amazing. The oh my God, Max Schreck. If it's someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger or even Harrison Ford, or like people can kind of hear in their head what that sounds like, but if you have to do something like Tom Holland, well, Tom Holland actually maybe is a little easier, but like Chris Pratt, I've done a ton of Chris Pratt, and there's not a lot to hang your hat on because he just sounds like a normal guy. And so there isn't certain notes you can hit. It's just kind of like, he's a normal guy. And that's harder to do than someone who has like obviously if you're doing Beetlejuice, you can hear what that impression sounds like. And I feel like it goes the same for likenesses where you need those specific, like, oh, this, person like Scarlett Johansson, I'm assuming is who that is. Her lips and her nose are really distinct.
Yeah.
Nobody else has a face like that.
Yeah, that's
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And her furrowed brow is very like, yeah.
Like these, it's so good. People are crazy talented.
It's insane. We live in an insane world. Can't we all just make art and get along? Is that Buffy?
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I want to.
Holy crap. That Alora? What is her name from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Gamora?
Gamora? Is that Ahura? Ahora's from
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
she plays her too.
That is
That's nuts though. That just looks like
yeah,
a human.
it just looks real.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It's not even Uncanny Valley. It's
It's
it
just
just
a
looks like a
person.
photo. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like that's
Great
why-
Keaton.
See, she's like another good example of someone
Yeah.
who's like, yes, her
Yeah.
her features are so distinct,
But yeah, you could almost do a caricature in a sense. Is that
and
kind
still
of
have
like-
it be almost a realistic likeness. Yeah.
right? Oh, nudity. Better be careful. Like,
We've already
right?
seen the bat missile.
Yeah. I like we're gonna take it off here pretty soon.
You don't want
Demonetized,
to pull
yeah.
a Mattel.
Yeah, right.
Oh no, too soon.
You guys hear about this? Read about this?
Oh, trust me. Yeah, it's it went viral pretty quick, which says
Kevin did a video. You're talking about the Wicked action
Yeah,
figures.
like
Kevin did a
video.
video, and then I saw someone else do a video.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Stevens from Forlum to Zuckus, he did a video, just went boom, it's just like skyrocketed.
Well, it's fascinating because you think of how did this happen? You know, like just from like
The
a layman's
packaging
like
was done by AI.
is it really? Is that
Yes.
how?
Is
How
that
are we
how it
here?
happened?
How are
yeah.
we here? That's
See,
crazy.
That tells me right there that we ain't ready for it yet. So
Yeah.
stop using it.
What I can't get over is that somebody actually went to the website that's printed on the back of the toy box. Like those things are always there, but it's like who's like, oh yeah,
I mean, that is also
check
another
out more
element to this.
content. All right.
Yeah.
Play with
I-
the toy.
I haven't done that since like X-Men 1 came out, where it's like, you know, how do I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have
I
a
always
great
like, "Oh!"
website. Yeah.
Waiting for that
Yeah.
little QuickTime movie to load.
What's my mutant power? I loaded that website like hours and hours and like over and over and over again just to find out what my mutant power would be, and it never worked. Like I had to sneak into my dad's office to go on the PC to try to use that website, and it was broken. I mean, it was dial up. But yeah, that was when you used like I remember also like when Muppets from Space came out. I remember like going to that website,
Yep.
like MuppetsFromSpace.com.
It was super interactive. I remember, I remember the Batman Superman Adventures website because it had all the model sheets on.
Oh, that's awesome! I never went on there. I didn't know
So,
that was a thing.
It had had an episode guide,
Right.
which is what we didn't have that at the time. So and it would tell you which episode was coming out. So
That's crazy.
It's
like magic.
I lived on that website. And then you click on characters, whether it doesn't matter. Again, you just click on the Batman Superman logo and it would switch to either the Batman stuff or the Superman stuff. This website was ahead of its time. And then you click on the characters, and then it would have the model sheet and then a description. So I was always on it because they had all the villains that were going to be appearing on the shows. You wanted to get that turnaround, that model sheet of Scarecrow, of the new Scarecrow. It was there.
It's crazy.
And then
People underestimate how hard it was to access that stuff. Like as a kid, I would get Star Wars Insider, like I subscribed to it, and I would save all the magazines, obviously because they were gold, but so I could draw from them or have reference. Because it's like, if I wanted an image of Luke Skywalker, I would have to either go to the library and find a book with him in an encyclopedia somewhere, or get it off the VHS. Like just having a physical image of something you liked was so hard to get. And then so when the internet happened, I mean, it took us a while to get a printer. But just that as a concept was like, it's something that's so hard to wrap your mind around. It'd be like, yes, it's 1995. Find me an image of whatever, of some random thing like the Predator. It's like, good luck, good luck finding that.
But that's how I got even the stuff for Extreme Ghostbusters. Like that was all on there too.
I remember going to
website?
Extreme Ghostbuster fan sites. It was and that was because it was on at a time where I never got to watch it. So it was like going to the website to see images and stuff.
I would get up at 6 a.m. to watch it, and I would
watch before school. Like you said, it would you'd get all disturbed.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to go to school and have your day, starting your day off being scared.
Yeah. I would eat Eggos and watch Real Ghostbusters at 6 a.m. on UPN. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Street Sharks, I think, would play afterwards. And I was like, I hate this show. And I wouldn't watch that. Or Extreme Dinosaurs, I think was the name of it.
That was another one.
I don't remember anything about it other than being like, well, Ghostbusters is over. It's time for me to leave.
Yeah, I'm late for math.
Yeah, I'm late. That's how I talk about going to work some mornings. I'm late for math.
Late for math.
That's kind of what it is. The with Extreme Ghostbusters, like just going, I remember going on the websites. I don't know if you guys remember these. Like I used to go to Ghostbusters HQ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're always talking about Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah,
it's happening. It's around the corner.
Dan
Like,
Aykroyd's like, well,
was
we've
it.
got a script. Yeah, Dan
Yeah.
Aykroyd constantly out
Chris
Yeah.
Farley's in it. Like,
Yeah, Chris Rock, Chris Farley, Chris Rock. They're going to be in the new Ghostbusters. Proton Charging was another place I went to all the time. It's really funny, like how nothing has changed. Like I still use the internet to like look for Ghostbusters. I look for Batman cartoons.
Yeah.
And I look for X-Men news. Like it's nothing has changed.
Yep.
I use the internet for the exact same things.
the only thing that's changed is that now AI is sending our kids to porn sites.
Gosh, you know what? I really hope Wicked.com, like, and now we could check. We would go off the air, but I really hope they took advantage of this by having nothing but Wizard of Oz parodies on the front page.
That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. I mean, it's
I'm sure
public domain.
Someone's working there now going, we are getting so many clicks right now. What is happening?
Oh, they know.
Oh, they know.
They definitely know. It's
The
just
adult industry always knows.
so crazy that that happened. That is a thing. Yeah. It's having worked for companies where it's just like, no, everyone's trying to get someone else to do the final check, and everyone, it's just like, yeah, of course that happened.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it?
But also, it's like if you look at a box and you see Wicked.com, you just be like, yeah,
I'm gonna check.
I'm sure whoever is putting out that movie paid whatever they needed to pay to get Wicked.com. Like, especially if it could be confused with a adult movie site, like. Move heaven and earth to like make sure that didn't get confused. Like,
yeah,
it's
fascinating. It's fascinating, and the fact that there wasn't any sort of like, hey, everyone at Target, we've sent you these stickers to cover it up, or they're just like, it's out there, right? I mean, have they done anything to recall them, or
as far last I saw,
they have.
I saw somebody post someone trying to buy one and they weren't able to buy one.
So they're just on the shelves.
So they're that was my reaction too. Of just like, so you just left them there.
Yeah.
I think people like bought them up because like anticipating that it was going to be like, it's like a famous thing now. It's like part of
it's a Dune bucket
toy history.
Yeah. I don't know if it will be in the same way that like the Princess Diana Beanie Baby is, because we got the laugh that we needed out of it. And I think we've moved on. Like we're already like, oh, neat. That's funny.
It's the ray gun of toy news.
Ray gun. What do you mean?
My God. The
Australian breakdancer.
Oh, yes, God. Mattel recalled all of them. Oh,
yeah.
God. They're just gonna have a warehouse full of I mean it also, just as a non-theater person, the idea of having Wicked toys is also just a strange concept. Like, unless, I don't know, were they dolls or were they
were dolls? Yeah, they're
that
like
makes
Barbies
more sense.
From Mattel.
Okay, then that makes sense. I was imagining something a little more akin to like a 6-inch action figure, where it's like,
oh my God, Wicked Wizard of Oz Legends. I would absolutely buy them.
Return to Oz.
Yeah.
I would kill for that.
Okay. Now you just sparked
Return to Oz. That's your next, Alex. Your next fan project is Return to Oz.
Make it happen.
I'm gonna DM Viola right now. I'm gonna be like, hey, you and Sean should get on to this like craft girl. This girl from the craft is when.
I mean, there's a character who has multiple heads. Like that's an action figure
Queen,
right there.
Queen Mumby. I just watched it recently, and it's as horrifying as you think it is.
Yeah,
that was my trauma from the film. I have a lot of friends that their trauma of that movie is the wheelies.
The Wheelers. I don't understand that. People are always like, the Wheelers messed me up. I'm like, did you miss the part where the woman takes off her heads? Why is everyone obsessed with the Wheelers? It's a bunch of theater guys with wheels on their hands.
Yeah.
That's not scary at all.
Yeah.
Like they could barely move.
Pay to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Starlight Express.
Yeah.
It's not even the queen removing her head. It's the part where Dorothy grabs the dust.
And they all scream.
And they all start screaming.
It's pretty
that to me, I remember we watched this in elementary school, like as like a thing. And I was just like, I remember that vision. I actually thought it was a fever dream nightmare. I actually I remember the next day being
Where am
like,
I?
I did not that didn't actually happen in a movie. And then watching Return to Oz in my late teens, and I was like, this, oh my god, this is real.
What about the stress at the end of being in a room of things?
Yes,
and you
the
have
objects.
to guess which thing is your friend, or you'll be a thing forever.
Yeah.
It was an impossible situation.
It doesn't make any sense too. It's not like, oh, this is the tint or this is the pumpkin because of he loves this thing. It's literally just like, I don't know, this doorknob, and you're like, yeah, Jack. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that's
a true anxiety.
It feels like a dream, a nightmare.
Fever dream.
The movie starts with our lead character getting shock therapy.
Yes,
true.
It's horrifying.
Right? And they're like, well, is Toto, the cute little dog, gonna be in this? No, it's a fucking talking chicken, and you'll like it.
Yeah, good luck. But it's like the whole thing of again, you don't realize it as a kid, but when you rewatch it as an adult, you're like, are you telling me that Auntie M was like, she keeps talking about this Oz place and this scarecrow, we should probably take her to a doctor.
Yeah. And get her zapped.
Zapped.
Because Auntie M was a nice person, and Uncle whatever was nice.
Uncle whatever, yeah.
Uncle whatever.
Say Uncle Owen. Uncle
Owen. I was gonna say Uncle Owen, yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that she's like, Dorothy, listen, I've had enough of your crap. We're sending you to this guy, and we're gonna zap the hell out of you in a prison for children.
Yeah. And then she falls into a freaking river.
It is a messed up movie. Uncle Henry. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Uncle Hank. Yeah.
I forget people can actually see us talk about this. We're not just speaking in a vacuum about Return to Oz.
Yeah.
I fall down rabbit holes every once in a while. I go on eBay and look at Return to Oz stuff because there is stuff, but it's weird little dolls and things, and it's unsettling. It's as unsettling as the actual movie is.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not, they're not pleasant products. There's someone online who collects a bunch of Oz stuff, and I was watching their YouTube. And it was, just and this is my Return to Oz stuff. And there's these horribly made weird things. And I'm like, it's just as ugly as the movie.
I wonder if there's an Airbnb out there that has a moose head tied to your bed.
There's gotta be.
Randomly, I met the guy who was the voice of the Gump in the DVD section of, or in the Return to Oz section of Amoeba Records in LA.
Wait, was he just hanging out there looking for Return to Oz?
I guess so.
Like you with the X-Men shirts?
Yeah, exactly. It was very surreal. I don't remember how the conversation happened, but basically I was talking about back in Jersey, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, oh, they have it. They have Return to Oz. And I pulled it up and it was $80. And I was like, all right, I'll just download it or something. And then this guy with a very deep voice goes, were you a criminal in New Jersey too? And I go, excuse me? And I was like, what's up? And he goes, were you a criminal in New Jersey too? You're going to download that movie? And I was like, well, honestly, I don't know where. And this is 15 years ago. I was like, I don't know how else to watch this. It's not on Netflix. I can't afford this DVD. And he goes, that was, oh God, what's his name? The director. He's like, that was
Walter Murch.
He goes, that was Walter Murch's first movie. And I was like, I actually did know that. And he goes, I was the Gump. And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, I was the Gump. And I was like, you mean the head on the bed? And he goes, that was me. And then as he's talking, I'm realizing, oh, yeah, this guy is the Gump. He just sounded like him. And then we had a very weird conversation, and I don't remember what happened, but I slowly put the DVD down and just backed away. And I was with my roommate at the time, and I was just like, do you think he just stands there and waits for people to pull the DVD out? What was the...
And then accuse them of stealing it?
Yeah.
Because he gets a cut from it. And
because it was used too.
Buy it.
Yeah. Well, so Amoeba has, I don't know if you guys have been, but they have used DVDs and they would be they would be rare sometimes. And so they could be between $100, $80, and at the time it hadn't been printed in a very long time, or they did a small run. So it felt like he was just waiting there. But not that I condone pirating movies, but I was like, I want to watch this again and I can't afford this.
It's that interaction sounds very on brand for the movie.
It honestly, just as surreal and weird. It feels made up. I feel like I made that up, but I had a witness.
Everything
there to
about this is disturbing.
The trauma never ends with this movie.
No, it doesn't. Were you a criminal in New Jersey too? And I'm like, excuse me, random bearded man.
Yeah.
You better pick the right DVD or you'll become a DVD.
Yeah, exactly. Choose which of your friends is what DVD. Yeah,
Am I a used DVD or am I a latest?
they're
release?
all used.
Can I at least be Criterion Collection?
No, you're a SpongeBob VHS. What?
You're in a 2-for-1 bin. Yeah.
But I don't get to tell that story too often. But when I do, I'm always like, I don't believe it. It's very, very, very weird. LA's full of weird little stories like that.
It's because of where you live.
I found the storyboards too. I've told the story a few times, but I found the storyboards to the Super Mario Brothers movie on the ground. And when I was walking to go get food up in Los Feliz, and there was just an open binder next to a full trash can, and it was the lost. I found out storyboards from the Super Mario Brothers film, and I went, huh? Like I looked down, saw Mario on. It was. So it was the scene where he was on the mattress going through the airways or air vents, and I was like, well, I know that's Super Mario. And I picked it up and it was wet, and it was there was receipts from Japan and stuff in it. And I was like, this is weird. So I closed it up, put it in a bush, went and got food because I wasn't taking that thing with me to the restaurant. Went back to the bush, pulled it out, and then I examined it, and I was like, this is wild. Like this is every storyboard. And so I put it up on Facebook, and somehow, again, this is like about 14 years ago, someone saw my post and shared it with someone who was restoring the DVDs, and they eventually asked me, can you scan these? And we'll put them on the release. And so I scanned all the things. And so on one of the Blu-ray 4K editions, I guess I have a credit. I've never seen it, but I guess I have a credit for scanning all the storyboards.
Storyboards found by a trash can.
Yeah, and someone clearly threw it out. There was like a van there too. So I'm wondering, I was like trying to piece together, how did this happen? I'm assuming someone just had a bunch of stuff and they went, I don't want these stupid things anymore, and just threw it. I still have it. It's in the next room. It's crazy.
I love that. Hang on.
That's a true Hollywood story.
Jasoner, right? I think I said that right.
Lyle Conway.
Yeah. Lyle Conway. Apparently he helped with Puppet Audrey 2 also.
That makes sense. I looked him up later. He did a bunch of like really incredible stuff, but he was very salty.
Oh,
very salty about my wanting to steal his film.
It was, you were buying a used copy.
I know. I was like, bro, you wouldn't have gotten any of this money anyway. If I could go buy it for $20, I would. But at the time, in 2010, it wasn't available.
Yeah,
just
garbage. I didn't go through the garbage. It was on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I actually, now in hindsight, I kind of regret not taking a peek in that garbage can, because maybe there would have been stuff that was like, oh, Bob Hoskins is in here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's Roger Rabbit 2 script.
Oh my God.
That's the main thing I want, is a 1/6 scale of Mario and Luigi in the like nightclub outfits they wear. The like those like yellow turtleneck and like blazer.
You have the power. You can do it.
I think it needs to happen.
Do you ever print your own sculpts? Like, is that a thing that you do?
I haven't really. I find 3D printing really difficult. Like I haven't like applied the time to really get good at it, and also like the printer that I have, like the software it uses is like complicated, and it's like
I have a CR10, like the FDM printer, and it's like, unless you're printing things broadly, like a large objects, you would never be able to print what you do, because it would just be this soft. It would the resin is the way to go. Yeah, for sure. But then you poison your family and friends by having
it's true.
It's very stinky and toxic.
Yeah, that's definitely for the garage, and and it gets cold. You can't. There's all kinds of.
I've looked into it a lot. I watch a lot of tested Adam Savage stuff.
And like Brandon Gash, who works on our team, like he will like in a weekend will like 3D print something he's working on, like paint it up, like it's amazing. Like, but yeah,
that is an art in itself. It's not like when people are like CG is going to replace whatever 2D animation. Like, no, 3D printing is its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I tried it with like Rogue, and it was like it would be like 7 hours, and then it failed. Like
Yeah,
at the,
no,
it was like,
totally.
oh great, like this is gonna take weeks to
Yep.
just get one part. Like, but
We're
Yeah.
almost there, but we're not. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with
no,
you, like-
totally. If it can print and clean itself, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Then we'll
for
never need
sure.
anything
Yeah.
ever again.
Yep. That's what they
Right.
need. Yeah, no resin. Forget it.
'Cause
Yeah.
There's
Because
a
I've
gel
seen people
printer. Have you guys seen that where it prints into a cube of gel?
Yeah. super
Yeah,
What?
it's like I think Imagineering or someone was working on it, where basically it's like a gelatinous cube and it prints into it somehow. I don't know how
it's
that
like,
works.
It's like it like
but
squirts the resin in, and the gel kind of holds it in place.
that's like the
and
most
it
futuristic thing
appears
I've
as if
ever
it's-
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then
wild.
you just reach in, pull it out. No muss, no fuss.
Yeah, and you've
No
got a human heart.
gloves, no like, respirator.
It's crazy.
No garage needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bath of gel.
Just gel.
Oh.
Just gel, baby.
Yeah, because usually when I see people do the resin printer stuff, they're usually making miniatures, which do look really good,
Right.
right? But I mean, it still seems like it's small stuff. Maybe
I-
the occasional helmet.
Oh
I-
god,
I got
can't
such-
imagine.
Yeah,
Such-
I can't imagine either.
I got the for like stuff that you wear, that's definitely like FDM.
Yeah.
You want to use that, but like I was able to print like a DC collectibles scale Nora Freeze music box, and you could like make it like I sculpted like a full figure, right, and then I printed it out like tiny, but you
That's
could still make
amazing.
out like some of like the facial details. Like it was like it did really well with the tiny
The
details.
resin stuff's amazing.
yeah.
Sorry, does anyone care about this that's watching this? This can't be interesting. Talking about
Yeah.
resin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I went
Welcome
from
to,
Return to Oz to
Cosplay.
Super Mario Brothers to resin printers. This is how my brain works.
No, this is how the show works when we have guests on. When we don't have guests on, it's just like, well, it's an hour, and then we're like
Yeah.
done. We have guests on, and we go well over an hour, and we
We need to have like a Patreon thing where we just watch the Super Mario Brothers movie and do commentary.
I'm
oh
in.
yeah.
I forced my friends to watch it on my birthday a few years ago, and they were pissed because they were like, "This isn't fun. This movie's not fun." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Maybe not for you, but I love it." Yeah.
It's my birthday. I decide. What
I
to
get
watch.
to do.
Yeah.
I want to do a thing one year for my birthday where I would love to do this regularly, where it's like AJ's Secret Cinema, where I have people show up and it's a movie that I know no one would want to watch. Basically, just Super Mario Brothers over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you have everyone come like dress up in theme, like just like and
Well,
have
they'd have
people
to be surprised because I've trapped them in. I go, well, the door's locked and we're watching.
I would say blazers and turtlenecks.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you have to wear blazers. It's perfect. They'll all think they're watching Twins.
You can do a double feature with twins.
It's true.
I think
Right.
there should be a movie theater that just plays like bad movies, but it's like super affordable. It's super like if you have like $2, you want to see a movie, like you can see a pretty bad movie at this
Oh,
movie
that would be.
theater.
I could see some people getting offended. Like I would get offended. They're like, I'd be like, Batman and Robin. Why is Batman and Robin in here?
But hey, then you get a deal. You get a
Yeah.
good deal.
I guess that's true.
Just
I
saw
guess that might
Batman
be the deal.
Forever in the theaters a couple weeks ago. They were.
Oh.
Did you guys
Oh,
see that
for-
they did a re-release?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Batman
Right.
Day.
Incredible. It was awesome. I mean, that movie is one of my favorite Batman movies, and I
Same.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's nostalgia so much as I'm like, this movie really works in like the most bizarre way. It's
It-
kind of phenomenal.
My favorite thing to do is to watch Batman Returns and Batman Forever back to back. Because they weirdly blend in together.
Yeah, I can see that.
And God, it's so much fun. And I love that the opening title sequence for Batman Forever.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
the
love-
neat. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
it's
Like
so much fun.
lasers and yeah, it's boiling acid. That movie is just burned into me.
Yeah, my glasses.
Yeah, that one guy that goes Batman, yay! in
Yay,
the- that got like the biggest laugh in the theater. It was so funny to just hear everyone forget that line existed and then burst out laughing.
Yeah, and then remember I remember seeing it in theater when it first came out, and because I'm such a Robin guy
Right?
at that time as a teenager, that I was like, this movie did no wrong. I finally got Robin on the big screen. Like, it was
I
like the
loved Robin
biggest
as a
deal.
kid. I never liked the kid surrogate of a show where it's like, oh, that's the kid that's supposed to get you as a kid into the thing. But like, I loved because Robin in the animated series was so solid that
Yeah,
that
he's
made
cool.
him like he was
He's
cool.
at
He was a cool
college,
individual.
He's your older brother, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think
was
the
awesome.
The Burt Ward Robin is like that too, because he's just like, there's no kid stuff. Like he is just like
he's
this little
beating him up
psychopath.
with
who's
yeah,
there
exactly.
with, he's like Batman if you took away the sort of like nobility, like, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, though it's getting that Robin. It's just you're right because it's that Batman animated series really did him like made him cool again.
Yeah,
but that's also thanks to like Tim Drake in the comics. That's where it's all comes from.
Yeah, that Neil Adams costume,
right? Like it all comes from that. The moment they got rid of the booty shorts and pixie boots, it was like, oh, Robin's cool, and everyone loved him. And then, but yeah, there's always that like, you know, it's still the '90s, so comics still weren't cool, right? Like it's still.
It took until 2015 for them to be cool. I think.
It really did.
The fact that like I can go to Walmart and see like a mom with 4 kids wearing like a Thor shirt is wild to me. You know, it's like that would have been like, are you like me? You know, that like we're in such a different culture than or like Star Wars. Like Star Wars has become a brand like Nike now, where like you can just get I remember going to a mall in Florida as a kid and seeing a Star Wars t-shirt and being like, oh my God, like I need it. And it wasn't even something I liked. It was like the Death Star. And like it was just so rare to see that stuff out and about or available. And now
if you heard somebody else, like a stranger, say anything nerdy, you'd be like, too?
What are you talking about? You like,
did you say Wolverine?
Exactly.
I'm talking about the boots. Like,
are you selling drugs? But even like in the '90s, like those Star Wars shirts or even comic book related shirts, because they would be at the comic shop. A lot of the time they'd be so expensive.
Yeah, they'd be like $50. Yeah, no, totally.
Right?
You're like, well, one day. Yeah.
And I remember going on a band trip and we were out at West Edmonton Mall, Canada's largest mall.
Home of Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight
headquarters.
That's right. I remember going into the shop and they had like Frank Miller Daredevil shirts.
That's cool.
And I was crazy. Like, I still have it from 1996. It's like, because it was like such a rare thing to get like a shirt that looked cool.
Right.
That was like, and an obscure character at the time. Nobody, like the Muggles had no idea.
No, for sure.
X-Men was like in its prime in its 90s, and it still felt like only a certain people knew who everybody was.
Right. Yeah.
Like everyone, in the 90s in high school, everyone knew kind of who Wolverine was, even if they didn't want to admit it.
Right.
But no one's gonna know who Shadowcat is. That's me. Right. Yeah. So it's just, or like no one knows who Daredevil is. It's like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, X-Men.
That's it. Even X-Men was like, because the cartoon people were aware of it, but it was like, I watched that as a kid. It was like Captain Planet or something at the time. Where it was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I couldn't name anybody, but it was cool.
Yeah.
It was fine. So, it's it was really cool finding that stuff back then, and it was special. But you're right, like it's once Star Wars, I think, especially once the prequels hit too, like Star Wars apparel was everywhere. And then I feel like the style of shirts and stuff that we got went up a notch when Ashley Eckstein did her universe.
Oh, totally. And now it became like a fashion thing. Yeah.
I feel like she completely changed the game, and not just for women's clothing, for nerd clothing, but for men's as well, which is why we have heroes and villains. And there's what is it? That's another one. Something.
Roosevelt?
Roosevelt. Thank you. Yeah. That's it. It's like them as well, right? Like now it's like you can get like expensive, fashionable shirts with sentinels on it, and I feel
the world may be terrible, but at least we have these things. Like that's, it's fine. It's fine because we can get as many,
Hey, in these shitty times, look for the wins.
Yeah,
no matter how small they are, look for the wins. They exist, right? But it's it's crazy how much too, like I haven't taken the stuff for granted yet. Because I do like it still blow, like I still think of Age of Ultron when it came out. And when I saw Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver on the side of a bus, it was one of those things where I was like, what world did I fall into?
I've arrived.
Like the children of Magnus are like on a billboard. This is amazing. And I honestly thought when that movie came out that they were bringing the X-Men in.
Yeah. Well,
like, I don't know if
it
anyone
worked out
else
that they
felt
didn't,
that.
but yeah.
It worked out, but I mean, at the same time, I was
We're
like,
still waiting, right? Like,
we're still
I'm
waiting.
happy with what we got. I think I like the Fox movies for what they were, and then I feel like it's funny. It's the thing that comes up more than anything is like, who would you cast as Gambit, or would you want to see a live action X-Men? That's like, I'm sure it's coming, but like, I'm happy with the cartoon. I think it would be really hard to beat the cartoon because
for sure.
You can wear yellow spandex and look silly and be fun and still have really emotionally resonant stories. Where if you do the same thing with live action humans, it's different. I don't know why we as people feel like the pinnacle of any property is a live action version. I don't feel that way in my soul.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't need a live action Samurai Jack to make Samurai Jack what it's already perfect. Like, I don't need someone else to play that character.
We're looking at you, Lion King. I don't think we needed a live action.
Although that's not live action, it's CG. That makes me crazy.
Yeah, it does drive me crazy
it
too.
Is CG. There's nothing live. There's not an ounce of live action.
But it is that photo real, right? It's like
that's not live action.
Yes,
no, sure. But
it's like saying that the Hot Toys is a real person.
It isn't.
It might be. That Catwoman actually might be a small woman. I'm not sure.
But in terms of like people preferring like less imagination, like I think that's like it's similar. Like
it's this weird stigma too, where whoever planted the cartoons are for kids. That's who I blame.
And I heard
Hanna-Barbera.
Well,
yeah,
I heard that mostly came from like during the dawn of TV. The networks were looking for cheap things to play on TV during the day, right? And cartoons were very cheap. Like, they play in front of movies, and there were a lot of cartoons. Well, no, I don't mean like Hanna-Barbera. This is like, like Fleischer and Looney Tunes.
We're going way back.
Yeah, like this is the beginning of TV, and so they would play, shorts that would normally play in front of movies, like on TV during the day, and that's when kids were home watching TV or whatever, and so advertisers started to started to bring in cartoon characters to sell stuff to kids. And that created the association of cartoons being for kids.
That makes sense.
This is how, because before, like, everyone would enjoy them in front of a movie,
right?
But it specifically became like a kids thing, and that's what I heard.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just weird that we can't separate it. I mean, I know Guillermo del Toro and like Miyazaki and different people like that talk about it all the time.
Well,
and it's a medium, not a,
Yeah,
and in Japan and France, like those, they're like for all ages. It's just it's just filmmaking, right? So
right, yeah. No, I don't. So I guess to come back to the X-Men stuff is like, I feel like what we're seeing now with like even the original X-Men show in the 97, I'm like, yeah, that's X-Men. I'm good. Like I feel satisfied with that. If there's more, that's a bonus. But like,
true.
I feel like we have this weird cultural thing where it's like, but wait till it's live action, then it'll be real. And I'm like, I'm all for it, but that's not the way my brain thinks of it. Like, I like the live action Raimi Spider-Man, and I like that it's its own thing kind of. And same with the Fox X-Men is I'm like, yeah, I like that it's a different take on it. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one replica of things. I like its own live action does its own thing. And I don't know. I like it being its own thing.
I wonder if it's a holdover too from a time where that was like validation for like
100%,
because it's like
Batman, like the original Batman is like, now it's real because it's Michael Keaton and Tim Burton, and it's like
and people who normally wouldn't know about it are gonna know about it. Like like people are gonna talk about Blade, and like so like it was more an avenue for getting these comics and cartoons you loved out to the mainstream and celebrated
Right.
in a bigger way. But now we're like drowning in that, right? Now
Yeah.
it's like fully mainstream. We get like everything gets made into a live action movie. It doesn't have that same, it's not required anymore to make something, the thing you love, known. It's already known, right? So
Well, The Rocketeer's a good example too, where it's like, here's this obscure comic that was popular in its own right, but like now it's a movie, so now it's real. And I do agree with it on that level, where it's like, yes, now you've taken this idea and brought it to its ultimate form. I think that's kind of what it comes from, is like the Keaton Batman movies are almost, and then I mean the animated series too, where it's like, this is the ultimate form of this. I think for a time that's how we perceive these things, as like Judge Dredd or something, it's like now it's going to be the ultimate version.
yeah,
But I don't think that is the case anymore, especially
Right.
with stuff like, Into the Spider-Verse, like blowing things out of the water. It's like, it's the best Spider-Man. They are the best Spider-Man movies, I think.
I biasly agree. But I'm 100% with you, because I remember when X-Men 97 came out, and it's just like it's somehow exceeding expectations on all fronts.
Yeah.
And
I still
was-
can't believe it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was and I remember just being like, I don't need them in the MCU. I am
Right.
okay. I am fine. If they just keep making this good, I don't need the rest. Then of course Deadpool Wolverine comes out. It was great seeing Hugh Jackman in the actual costume and the mask and
Oh,
everything.
totally.
Amazing. However, all it took was for me to come down off that high of seeing a real Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Yeah.
And the Mark Silvestri cover of him on the cross, and just that opening montage, or not the opening montage, but that
Yeah,
the
recruiting Wolverine.
Right, yeah.
right montage. And I was like, once I kind of like, it took some time and like digested everything, and I was like, that's a fun movie. I love it for what it is. I still think I prefer Deadpool 2 the most out of all of them. Not to say that any of them are bad. They're all good. All three are great for what they are. And but man, X-Men 97, I just find myself going back to that. If I need that X-Men fix of hearing everybody in the background while I work, or just something to watch, just to kind of, X-Men 97 is not the best show to watch when you're trying to wind down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it gives
Yeah.
me a lot of anxiety personally, in a good way.
Yeah, but it's just like
It's-
I still get that nostalgic feeling for X-Men like all the time. And when I get that itch, I find that 97 hits that so hard that I'm not even anticipating like, oh, I can't wait to see who they cast as Cyclops. My Cyclops is right here. I'm good.
It's weirdly how I mean, it's hard because I don't feel that way about everything, but specifically with X-Men, I'm just like, yeah, it just works. It fires on all cylinders. Like with Spider-Man, it is exciting to think of like, oh, cool, they could do a really cool live action Spider-Man. If they could keep rebooting Spider-Man forever, and I'll basically always be excited about it if they can nail the tone. Same with Batman, same with Superman. And like, but with X-Men, I'm like, it's such a specific universe that it'd be so hard. Like I'm reading through Berserk for the first time, and like the idea of them being like, we're making a live action Berserk, I'm like, that's gonna be hard. Like those characters are so, because like Berserk, and this is obviously, there's a heavy metal sort of weird vibe to X-Men that Berserk has, and other properties where it's like, it's very heightened, and it's stylized, and that's why I think the Fox movies are so
It's
fun.
made for the medium that it's made for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
and that's really, really hard to change. And it's not that I mean, like, if they said, you know what, X-Men's not part of the MCU, we're going to do our own thing, our own world, which it kind of sounds like they're kind of doing with Fantastic Four. I'm like, I'm interested in that. That's really cool. Like a fresh start. This is its own world, and then they can find a way to incorporate it in later. Like that's really fun to me. But like, and I hope I'm not saying anything that gets me in trouble. I don't think I would, but like, I don't know. It's really hard to adapt those characters because they are very arcade. They're very 90s. They're very like neon. And it's hard to, because real life, like Batman works, but real life sucks the light out of that, kind of. And unless you're like, it's hyper surreal, which like Batman Forever, which I'd be, honestly, if they do a Batman Forever style X-Men movie, I'm in. I can't wait. Neon and oh man, I'd love that.
And a killer soundtrack.
Oh, kick-ass soundtrack with just a bunch of 90s, 80s bops. And honestly, if someone wants to do that, almost like Sin City, but color, like bright color, like
Yeah.
oversaturated, almost
Oh,
like Barbie or
again,
something.
going back to it, kind of like Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy, yeah, if they do
Right?
that, I'd be like, this is the greatest movie of all time. But it's tough trying to bring characters like that into the modern reality that the MCU has set out, because the MCU, even for as heightened as it is still, Tony Stark's a real guy dealing with like war crimes and stuff,
Right.
So it's like it is still our world.
Right. Because I could honestly see them being like, hey, you have murderers on your team. It's like,
yeah. Yeah,
maybe,
it's hard.
maybe that,
I don't envy that. Whoever has to write that, it's so difficult.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because I always kind of giggle about that, where it's like the dude who's like the most violent, murdery dude, Canadian, just illegally living. Yeah.
I thought you guys were supposed to be nice.
So sweet and apologetic.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Wolverine is really nice when you're a redhead.
Jane. Yeah.
Right. But I'm always like, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna fit the X-Men in. And I know they want to. Deadpool made $1 billion. Disney's just sitting there going like, okay.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see, because also with Deadpool's gritty, but he has his own reality to some degree, and now he's meshed into it, but he established his own reality. I'm so curious to see what they do, but man, I would love just more X-Men 97 is fine by me, but then also if they were like, you know what, we're doing hyper-saturated, we're doing something that's like Down with Love. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie where it's like a hyper reality. I'd be like, this is I would be. Yeah.
Fantastic Four does kind of seem like it.
I know. I'm excited. I'm like,
elements,
ooh, hyper 60s reality. Like,
yeah.
Also, you get fatigued watching characters in dismal worlds, and I think it would be fun to see something that is I'm literally looking at my like phone cover right now, where it's like, yeah, it's pink and bright, and man, I would kill for that. That's why I get asked that a lot specifically, or it comes up a lot. Like, what do you think about live action X-Men? And I'm like, I love the cartoon, and that to me is the definitive version. But if people could stop picturing like the Batman Begins version and do something that's like crazy, like bubblegum, I think people will go nuts for that. Because everyone wants to go darker. I think that's what Batman Begins did for us, where it's like, what if we do the dark version? It's like, no, we went through that phase. Like, let's do the opposite. Let's go nuts.
Yeah.
Well,
Batman Forever version.
Yeah, I mean, because we have kind of lost unique style with these movies, because they all have to like fit together. It all has to be like this cohesive storyline. But like, it's great getting like Tim Burton's Batman, where it's like this movie has its own world. It has its own like, visual grammar. Like, I
love that. Dick Tracy is the best.
Dick Tracy, exactly.
Even Rocketeer has its own visual style and tone, and it's something that I missed so much, and why I loved like even Everything Everywhere All at Once. Even though that is a smorgasbord of stuff, it still had its own vernacular and its own world that it existed in. It does settle into our reality, but like, God, can you imagine getting those guys, the Daniels, to do an X-Men movie? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. I want something that breaks the mold, the master mold.
Nice. Because I would love for them to even be able to do X-Men spin-offs, just like they did X Factor, X-Force,
be awesome. Yeah, like
Generation
Pride spin-off, and like they could do. That's the thing about X-Men. You could do your own MCU just with X-Men. Like X-Men could be its own thing.
Yeah, and that was the 90s, right? Like comics, it was just like X-Men was and all their spin-offs.
Yeah,
it was like Avengers who?
And then you have your Endgame, which is just them versus Onslaught, or or
depending on where you could do Krakoa and go, if you want to go all the way down the line, you could do. I dropped my phone. There's so much you can do.
Space and fight the Brood.
Dude, Asteroid M, all that stuff, dude. There's I'm curious to what they're going to do, and
I trust that. I think they've been. If I had to guess, as someone who literally knows nothing about this, it's just me speculating as a fan. Like, I would guess, because of how X-Men 97 was received and how long they've waited to really bring the X-Men in, they're probably going to do something we don't expect. Like, I feel like that must be what they're building up for, because it's like, all right, the MCU has its own place. It's carved out a really solid block. Like, I would be really surprised if they're like, we're just going to fit the X-Men in, because the obvious question is, well, where were they, throughout all of this? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did kind of like what it seems like they're doing with Fantastic Four, if they just surprised us all with something different. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. I'm just excited for any
something
as
new.
a super nerd for X-Men. I just want all the X-Men stuff. So yeah.
This is not me trying to this is gonna sound like I'm fishing for information, but you wouldn't know this anyways, regardless.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. Because what I would love is to have X-Men 97 season 2, season 3 theatrical movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That would be amazing. Like a Mask of the Phantasm.
Like a Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Oh God, I would love
Mr. and Mrs. X, and it's just Gambit and Rogue making out.
Lenore's been running around saying that. She's like, we need a miss. It's funny. I always do my impression of her with an accent, even though she doesn't have one in real life. I think she's kind of absorbed it, but she's always like, I told Jim Lee, or I told Kevin Feige. Like, she's always telling me, like, I told so-and-so. I don't remember who she's actually spoken to. We need a Mr. and Mrs. Gambit show. And I'm like, I'm in. It'll have to be a prequel, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Even so,
or an alternate reality. Yeah, I don't know.
There's so much you could do. So many stories. Like what happened between or in between episodes of the last original series. Like, there's a lot you could do.
X-Men's ripe for the picking, and I'm excited that it started off strong. I don't envy the writers and the producers for the next seasons, because it's like, well, you did it. You made one of the greatest things ever. Good luck doing more. Like, it's like hitting 5 home runs. Yeah. I do too. They're wonderful. But boy, the stress. All I have to do is like just watch, and just kind of go, congratulations, everyone, go ahead. But for them to, and especially like for the first season as a voice actor, all you do is the voice. You just go up, you do your voice, and then you leave. You don't have to worry about any of the logistics. So you have none of the stress.
Yeah, none of the stress of the deadline of trying to finish everything.
Yeah.
Trust me. Well, let's we're at 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I probably should go home or go back to my dog soon. Yeah.
So let's
sweating in this booth.
Let's wrap up here with Shondo Gecko. You guys should book your fantasy team roster. So let's just. I know we all have a team. We all have a roster in our head. So let's just quickly roundtable. Who's your dream roster? AJ, you are our guest tonight, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Of course, this was fun.
Having you on.
Glad I could finally do this again. I know you'd asked a couple times, but it's like it
was always timing, right? I always ask hey, you got San Diego tomorrow. Do you want to come on the show?
I know it. I'm like, no, I can't. Yeah.
And I always feel like I don't want to bug you, but now I feel like we're talking so much. Behind the scenes.
You can bug me. It's fine. It's just a matter of whether I see it or whether I can do it, or if I'm lazy, which is also a factor too.
Hey, that's totally fair.
So dream roster. How many are we talking?
Let's go.
All of Krakoa, if you need.
All of Krakoa. Obviously Gambit.
5. Yeah,
Gambit, Rogue. Gambit, Rogue, Nightcrawler. I don't know much about Magic, but I like Magic. From the newer stuff. I find her character is interesting. Beast. I love Beast. And Storm. I think I'd put all in a group just to see what happens, because I love Storm as well, and I think Storm doesn't get enough time to be. I would like funny Storm would be nice to see. Storm's sense of humor, I feel like, it's something you don't get to see a lot, and I'd love to see. She's usually just like, yes, I am Storm, and then does her own thing.
She's very assertive in everything that we've seen her in.
Yeah, and so I'd like to see her sort of have to deal with, dealing with them more.
That's a good solid team.
Interesting. I don't know, Magic, I also just like her silhouette. She has a cool shape, like her. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Magic is hot.
She's very hot too, but like she's got interesting and she has swords, right? Is that her, or is that?
She just got one big sword.
Yeah, that's awesome. From X of Swords or whatever. Because that's where I think I first read it, was X of Swords, and or came across her character, and I was like, this is a cool character.
Yeah. Colossus' sister.
And Psylocke, I've read something recently with Psylocke, who I knew nothing about for my entire fandom of X-Men, and I was like, she's pretty neat.
Yeah, she's hot too. I like her.
Also very pretty.
There's
don't
a
know.
theme with X women.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh
bunch
my
of hot, and then Witchblade for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Right? Like it's a dude. Dude, Psylocke. I think she's getting her own miniseries. I think it might even be out now or soon.
Oh, crazy.
So be sure. So any of you reading comics or wanting to check it out, look for that at your local comic shop.
I think there's always
Yeah.
a miniseries for someone.
Oh,
But anyway, go ahead, you guys.
Alex. Yeah.
Maggot, Beak,
Nice.
No Girl,
Leech.
yeah, Leech,
Marrow.
yeah, Marrow, of course, Cecilia Reyes, Doug
wow.
Ramsey. No, I mean it's the original X-Men animated series lineup. I'll be boring. Like I gotta
That's
have
it?
them. Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, Rogue, Gambit.
I didn't know that was an
Beast.
option because that's what I would have chosen.
Yeah, I'll be super boring. Gotta go with that's my favorite. Like gotta go there.
Right. That's
Just
Plus
multiple man. That's the
Nightcrawler. Love
entire team.
Nightcrawler. Yeah.
multiple.
Just
Just
a bunch of
multiple
multiple
men.
Yeah,
men.
just the multiple men.
Oh my! Hey, just quick heads up. Has anyone read Dazzler? Because her
No.
miniseries is out right now.
I don't know much about Dazzler, other than everyone wanted Taylor Swift to play her, and that didn't happen.
Well, they pretty much wrote her as Taylor Swift in this comic,
Oh, okay.
and it's fun. But her roadies are pretty much like it's Strong Guy and Multiple Man, and like Domino is her security. That's
really funny. Yeah.
It's a really fun book. All right, I'll go with mine. So my first pick is Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat. She is my number one. She's my first crush in comics. I have to
With
have
or
her.
without drag. What's her Lockheed?
Oh, Lockheed, dude, she's this genius cutie with a pet dragon. Come on.
Yeah,
That card where she's like tinkering with like electronics and she's half faced through them, like...
half face through with the dragon looking over top, dude. You know. Nightcrawler's also in there. Gambit and Rogue, because to me they are the power couple. Colossus is in there as well as Storm. So close
Similar
to AJ's,
teams,
but
yeah.
very similar. But that's my crew. If I really want to throw in some drama in there, some extra drama, I would throw in Emma Frost.
Ooh, yeah, Emma Frost.
Right.
That's my girlfriend's favorite X character is Emma Frost and Storm. Emma Frost and Storm are her too.
Yeah, those are those. You put Emma Frost in a team, and there's just automatic drama.
Yeah.
And she's great for it. She's such a bitch, and right, but she's also like super powerful, and she also, for the comics and stuff, I think we see a little bit of it in Genosha here as well in 97. As stuck up as she is, she cares like a lot,
right.
and we see that, and it's like she's willing to, like, her and Kitty Pryde do not get along, but those two understand the bigger picture, so that when they put them on a team together, there is that drama and that tension, but they see the big picture, and it's like, I don't know, I love dynamics and stories like that.
It's fun about X-Men is you can just be like, I want this character with this character for this reason, and that, like, just put them in a dream team. Although honestly, now that you've said it, the original X-Men team is just like, yeah, it's perfect. It's hard to, by original I mean for me the animated series.
Yeah, the animated.
Yeah, that's the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as Gambit's in there, I'm pretty happy though.
Yeah.
As a kid, that was the only reason I was like, I loved X-Men, but I was like, yeah, is Gambit in this one? He's not. I'll watch it anyway. But like, I just wanted to see what Gambit was up to.
Could someone put a trench coat on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, did anyone? Okay, now I know we're trying to like wrap up here, but I have to ask, like
2.5 hours. No,
I know. When you went to X-Men in theaters for the first time, the first movie.
Yes, I was
even
yeah, not by the movie, by no Gambit.
Right, because even I was like, wait, so you got Rogue, we have Rogue here, and I understand that they're going with younger. She's like, what? Like, my whole thing was like, I went into that movie like super excited. I already bought all the toys before the movie came out.
Oh yeah,
like I was right into it, and I was so excited.
Same.
But there was still that part of me going in being like, why not just have Jubilee? why is Rogue playing Jubilee or Kitty's role? And where is Gambit if we have Rogue?
Yeah.
Why is Rogue's hair so small? And
Where's the white streak?
Yeah.
I had so many questions, but at the same time, I was like, the Jean Grey and Cyclops casting and Wolverine, I was like, these are perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and Rogue's powers are perfect for that, introducing people to the blessing and a curse that is being a mutant. Where it's like the fact that her powers keep her away from people. It's like the perfect like teenage metaphor, right? Like
can't kiss a dude,
can't get close to anyone, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly like that's what you want to understand, have people understand about like what mutants are all dealing with, right?
Yeah, no, she was for that entry level. Yeah, because Jubilee would have been like, "Help! I'm shooting fireworks." Would have been weird in that context, but yeah, it's like I can't touch nobody. It's like, oh, that hurts my heart. My parents hate me. That's what's the
runaway. She's a rogue, but they could have made Iceman Gambit. They could have got a young Gambit.
It still would have been hard though, because it's like, there's just some guy who's taking classes there. It would have been so contrary to his character.
It kind of would have been, unless they actually had him like
and like
exactly
having him smoke a cigarette and being the bad kid at the back of the classroom. Being like
totally,
it would have been sweet.
So do you guys remember the game that came out with X-Men? There was a fighting game.
Yes,
it's
like 3D, like
it was like Mortal Kombat, but
so
they had concept art for Gambit in the style of the X-Men 1 movie, and I remember playing that and going, so is this a thing, or did the game developers do this? Because I remember hearing in like some cinema magazine or something, it's like, we wanted to put Gambit, and maybe he'll be in the next one. And so I kept waiting for Gambit to show up, but they had some sort of art. I don't know if it's
like a black leather trench coat.
Exactly, with padding and stuff. Yeah,
I think Beast was in one of the drafts, because I remember on the DVD they had like concept art of like what Beast would have looked like.
Totally. That stuff for me as a kid, I was like, oh, maybe the next one. I was so excited, but Rogue is a hard character too to just portray, and if you want to do her like the comics, she needs to be like 34, and just like a strong, almost like a professional wrestler style woman. Like, she's a hard character to nail.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, that's it. We're wrapping up.
All right, we're done. Talking about Rogue.
I'm calling
it. AJ, where can people find you? You got any conventions coming up? Anything? Spoops?
Spoops are the little Halloween characters I make. I just did a sale of them. The sale is now currently closed. I did think about it. It's a pre-order. I thought about opening up again real quick just because, but I'm overwhelmed as is. I'll be at Ninja Exchange in Carlsbad this weekend, the Saturday, which is it's a comic toy place. It's honestly one of the coolest places I've ever been. It's just like a mall, like an abandoned JCPenney filled with like 100 different toy booths, and it's there all the time. It's awesome. But Jim Lee will be there, which is the real reason I'm going, because I was like, wait, I can do a signing next to Jim Lee. I'm bringing my Uncanny X-Men 266.
Bring your X-Men cards as well. Your Jim Lee X-Men cards.
I don't know if I have them with me. I think my mom has them in an attic back home. Which is very sad. I know.
It is.
but I was like, so I'll be doing that this weekend. I still haven't figured out what time exactly, but and then I'll be in Puerto Rico in July, in January, and then Charlotte. I'm doing Fan Expo, I think, and then there's a bunch of other stuff coming up. But just follow me at the little @ down there that someone conveniently put for me.
Yeah, that's excellent. So follow AJ, find out where he's all going to be, and then get all your stuff signed and get asked about how you made your costume.
So many.
At
some point I'll post progress, because it's uglier than people think it is. Not the costume, the process of making it horrendous.
Alex, what's happening with you?
You can check me out on Instagram, fanplastic4. You can see my work on mondoshop.com. Right now we have a holiday sale going on to the rest of the year. So you depending on how much you spend, you can get some money off, get some good deals.
I need me that Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, we got Magnetos and Sabretooths if you're looking to start your X-Men collection. Jubilee, we got Jubilees. if you pre-ordered Cyclops, he's on his way. So, yeah, so
Okay.
you can check out Mondo's website there.
That's exciting. Okay, and then for me, you can find me at like just Ryan Doell 31. You find me on Toy Anxiety on Tuesday nights. Tomorrow, so I will be on the next episode of Toy Geeks, which is a podcast with Dan Larson and Geek Dad Jay, and we're going to be talking about G.I. Joe in 1985, which is going to be very exciting because talking to Dan Larson about G.I. Joe is exciting to me. So I'll be on their next episode of that. So stay tuned for that. And as well as in the links below as well, there's Alice's Comics. That's where she has been. If you're wondering, we haven't seen her in like a month and a half. That's because she's been busting her butt on this comic. All Haven Academy. The link is down below as well. So be sure to go check that out because she's reaching 50 issues of this comic.
Wow.
And, huge props to her. So with that said, everyone, have a great night. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you for everyone who is still here. And even if you're watching the replay and still here at the 2:40 mark, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we will see you. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.